last time, on Asmiliath adventures. After leaving Freesight City, the Golden Hearts made their way towards their ultimate goal, Bronshard. Passing through Northstone and then turning west towards the Surbat Mountains, our heroes moved towards the area that they had been warned was teeming with goblin life. Thor, staying ever vigilant, keeps his head on a swivel as they travel farther and farther west, passing through a small hamlet named Flower Field. Along the road, the party are surprised to learn that there was a murder in Corel around the time they'd been clearing the Delirious Height fort, but before they can question Jarek about it, Thor spots a goblin ambush in their path. With the party moving swiftly forward, they quickly dispatch the vile treachery the goblins had constructed and pursue the fleeing enemy through the woods. Upon capturing the last goblin, they attempt to get information from him, but ultimately find it pointless, taking the small victory of finding a magical flute in his possession. With the path now clear, the Golden Hearts return to the path of Bronshard, climbing higher into the mountains with each passing hour. Moving up the Blood Brother Pass, Rolly spots two statues that signify the event that nearly ended his clan's existence, taking a moment to give his respects before moving on. Stopping to camp for the night just before they reach the Dwarven City, the party pries slightly into Rolly's past, learning about his clan's sacrifice to protect Bronshard many years ago. Revealing that there is a celebration each year in remembrance for their sacrifice, the festival had just taken place yesterday. Finally getting through the final night before their arrival, the party arrive at their destination, moving through the gigantic gates that guard the Spiral City. The beautifully crafted architecture quickly consumes them as the Golden Hearts move inside, driving their wagon towards the large temple in their sights. Upon arriving back at Mother's Helm's temple, Rolly is met with his old mentor, Dongrador Kegsmasher, who is quickly informed about the potential threat of Torodan. Bringing Rolly into the Grand Archives, Dongrador shows him the amulet that supposedly stops Torodan during the Great Entrance, and theorizes a new one could be crafted in the Golden Halls. As Thor is left in the main hall of the temple, he recognizes one of the hammers that is depicted in a large mural? Realizing it resembles the hammer his clan leader wields, quickly Thor reveals this to Valoran, who begins to scheme up a plan to get it back. It is around noon on July 22nd, as Rolly and Dongrador come back into the main hall, and Jarek returns to fill out the party. So you would all now be gathered once more in the cafeteria, entrance, entertainment, grand hall room, the whole mixture of Mother's Helm Temple. Rolly, you and Dongrador probably, chatting a little bit about what you had discussed in the archives as you come out and see the party kind of gathering once more. But it's all up to you what you want to be doing at this moment.
I believe James and I were going to go shopping. But I don't know. Is Rolly back now?
Yeah, as your conversation was ending let's go get rings, Rolly comes back and Jarek is kind of done with Adam's little distraction, so everyone's more or less back in a group.
What did we agree the name of the leaders of the church here in Bronshard was?
The Chosen Children. It's okay. 4 of the highest of the religion or the temple sit on a more or less kind of council.
Okay, so there's no one particular.
No.
Okay. While the day is still young, we should address the council as a group. Let them know what we've learned and see what aid they can, or advice they can give us.
What council?
The ruling council of the church.
Oh.
Dongrador kind of is looking around, kind of seeing the reactions to it, but kind of nudges you, Rolly, a little bit on your back. Well, I'm sure that many of them are busy, but I can certainly request a meeting for you in the afternoon.
Yes, could you please impart the nature of our business? It's not a simple house call.
Usually we don't all gather just to chit-chat, so I will make sure the importance is passed along.
Well, in the meantime, we should probably get our affairs settled That starts with a drink.
Most things do here in Bronshard. But I will send a messenger after you, probably some young acolyte that needs a little bit of exercise, you know what I mean. But he will come, Tipsy Gnome you mentioned earlier, right? You're going to be staying there?
Yes, no need to bother two of them. We've already enlisted the service of an acolyte to take our wagon there, so if you can find him, I'll be fine with him attached to us for the moment.
I'll see what I can do. But he kind of looks around at the rest of the party, besides Rolly, kind of like giving you all like a little curt nod. It is always great to see young Halfbeard making friends, and I appreciate you all coming to visit Mother's Helm.
Wait,
Great to see you again, Dol.
isn't Rolly like 100?
What have you been telling them, Rolly?
Oh, a little of this, a little of that. So, the sky was blue today, and ale still tastes good, so what else should we talk about?
I don't know how all of our relationships are apparently built on lies.
No, I'm only about 70. Not
Oh.
sure. I ever told you I was 100, but either way, that's a small rounding error in the lives of dwarves.
I bet he lies about his height as well, but I shall go. I have many things to do.
Precisely 4'7" and a quarter.
Dumbledore then kind of like nods his head and then begins kind of clicking with his cane as he walks away back into like the deeper hallways of the temple.
So what did you learn? Or what did you talk about?
Oh. My girlfriend is pregnant. Or with child.
Congratulations.
Yes, probably not with mine, though.
Hmm.
So, about that drink, I really need one right now, if you...
Rogue,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you said you wanted to go to the Tipsy Gnome.
Yes.
I see, okay. Adam should be happy then.
Well, and, I mean, it's quite an establishment. Very happy family of gnomes that's taken up residence here in Bronshard and run quite a nice establishment. You think you'll really like it.
As you say, Rolly. As you say.
They've got delicious spiced potatoes.
Do you dunk it into the ale?
That's brilliant. I've never thought of that, but simply a way to save a bit of time. Very efficient. Are you
Oh.
sure you're not part gnome?
Absolutely not.
Adam at this point kind of like steps from behind Jarek, who can easily block out his entire figure, looking around at you all like, well, it's been fun, but I do worry about the wagon. We should go. Yes?
I'm sure
Yeah.
everything's gone by now. It's too late.
The wagon is in good hands, and there's very little petty thievery or anything of that sort in Bronshard. Dwarves are quite upstanding folks, don't tolerate the same riffraff that you find in human towns. You'll be quite comfortable here, and all of your possessions will remain where they belong.
Well, Master Rolly, it's not thievery. I'm more concerned about our salamander friend.
Oh, shit.
It's very little that's flammable here.
Except all of the explosives in the back of the wagon.
That too. It's less flammable and more explosive. I mean, you need to really qualify better, but... Yes, well, let's go check on him.
So, is the party as a whole going to move down to the Tipsy Gnome? Okay. So, a quick little rundown. Bronshard is split up into 3 distinct levels. There's the first level, which is the surface one that has the big gate leading to the outside. Then there's a second one, which is a mixture of kind of the mortal surface delving? The surface living races and dwarven kind. And the third floor of Bronshard is very much a, dwarven-only zone for various reasons, but the Tipsy Gnome is down on level 2, so you guys would be kind of going around the giant spiral of the city, the giant bronze shard that's kind of suspended in the middle, off to your right, kind of like catching the frequent torches and lights and lanterns that are kind of all throughout the city on its very shiny surface, almost making the whole shard appear to kind of dance and ripple as you move along the streets. But Bronze Shard, as far as the buildings and the ambiance of the city itself, there's always just kind of constant mumbling. There's big echoes from the kind of industrial levels below the city kind of ringing up and echoing up through the big chasm in the middle, eventually finding its way outside. But it's a dwarven city through and through. It's a very different feeling from any sort of, human town in Giles Kingdom or even folk. It's a different atmosphere that certainly Rolly would feel much more at home at, and everyone else is slowly probably getting used to in some regard. But we'll go ahead and drop you guys to the second level. So the Tipsy Gnome is over in the southwest district of the second level. Don't regard the little misspelling that I had to correct. Not a big deal. But right across from the little outlet that sticks out in the southwest, the Tipsy Gnome is roughly around here on the map. So that's the direction you were all heading. Is there anything you guys are doing before you arrive?
Rolly?
Thor.
So hypothetically, if there were a place we could buy rings, where would such a place be?
That's in... You're talking about rings for the fingers.
Yes.
Yes,
I
there's
don't know of
an
any
entire
other places.
district devoted to jewel crafting and the sort, so...
And where would that be?
You want a name, Rolly?
Yeah, I know that we talked about it. But
So, Borfor Circle is the big kind of blacksmith, jeweler, armorer, weaponsmith kind of area. That's where you would find, is it Ofor was his name? I have this written down.
my cousin Othor, yeah.
Yeah, so he works in Borfor Circle, and that would probably be your best bet for finding a jeweler. Of course, also up in the market district where, people are coming and going and trading and selling and buying. Could probably find someone up there that's selling rings, but kind of the 2 different options that you have.
Yes, for those sorts of matters, we should probably talk to my cousin Othor. He's a blacksmith, but I'm sure he has connections, and I need to get my armor commissioned as well, so a bit of business in the area anyway.
Alright, cool.
But really, I need a drink. Well, I would like one. I don't really need it. I need water, really, but I would very much like a drink right now.
Carl's on his shoulder, doing the whole looking thing at Rolly as he mentions needing a drink.
Yes. Quite in control of myself.
And Carl and I will just look at each other, shake our head.
So, Jarek, as you guys are making your way down to the Tipsy Gnome, trying to distract yourself in any way possible because of the destination you guys have, you notice that Carl's head is glowing with a message from Croak.
Oh, Thor, can I borrow Carl for a moment?
What do you need him for?
Well, he's glowing, so I assume
I know he looks awesome.
more bad news.
What do you mean bad? Oh no.
I'll just kind of reach up and try and grab him.
Okay, so you can grab Carl, focus in on him. The message that you get from Croak. Steady income. Rates are looking level. Under management. Hulaski. Entertainer. Routine evenings. You want me to repeat that for you?
Steady income. Hulaski is entertaining people on a routinely in the evening.
That's the gist, yeah.
Was it from the Duke? Did he get my message?
No, that was from Croak. I don't think the Duke's gem is up and working yet.
What did he have to say?
No, profits are coming in. My wife is being a good hostess, as always.
What does that mean?
Well, you know, she probably telling stories or singing. She used to sing for me whenever we lived in Thrice Tower. The most melodious sound you'd ever heard.
Last time she was bossing people around.
Well, yeah, that's part of her charm. You have to understand.
I don't think I have to, but I will move on.
I'll go ahead and send a message back.
Mm-hmm.
Great news. Keep production up and people busy. One rest day a week. I have a 20 word limit, right? Okay. Let me know about murder if possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted. So that'll be sent off to Croak for today.
Alright.
So, as the party continues moving through the spiral city, descending, as you move, it's like a very, very gentle incline going farther and farther down, each spiral kind of taking you down, maybe about like a half mile or so in elevation. But finally, you kind of get around enough buildings and move around the circle enough that you see what appears to be a giant oak tree kind of set into the exterior wall of the circle. It's maybe 3 or 4 stories high. It has this like giant bushy branch with tons of little green leaves all over it. And you're like, how the hell did a giant tree grow down here? But as you get closer, it is more and more prevalent or noticeable that it is actually a giant building carved of stone and then painted to look like a giant oak tree. But there's a tiny little, door set into the base of it, almost like kind of like a cutesy little stone archway with a nice thick wooden door, a few different windows kind of in the trunk as it moves up. But that is the tipsy gnome that Rolly would recognize and be very familiar with.
It's quite fantastic, really. Not only is it an eating and drinking establishment, the rooms that are available are very much like tree houses that I've seen on the surface that sometimes children make, but on a much grander scale.
Are they going to try and offer us companions to go with the rooms?
Certainly offer you some ale to go with the rooms and some spiced potatoes and perhaps some bacon. I'm not really sure that Gnomes are on the list.
Good to know.
I think you mean good to gnome.
No. Bad door.
So as the party continue inside, Thor and Valorant, you have to like actively duck to get through the doorway, but once inside, you know, kind of almost like the dark twisted tavern, can't remember the name of it, I'm sure Daniel has it, where the ceiling was just about head height with you, so you can just kind of barely stand tall on the interior. But you all move inside and you're met with a giant circular room, maybe about 60 or 70 feet in diameter. On the inside, there's still that look of like a smaller tree trunk kind of moving through the center and then going up into the next level. But around this kind of fake stone tree trunk, there is this actual natural wood bar that is like a slice through of the rings of a tree, with the center kind of carved out, forming like a giant circular bar, more or less. The surface very like well waxed and polished and shiny. A bunch of different like kegs and casks and various, you know, drinking implements lining the wall and the kind of trunk behind the bar. There's tables and whatnot kind of set around, and then peculiarly to those of you who haven't been to Bronshard frequently, there appears to be this almost like larva grub looking creature sat in a box on the desk, or the bar in the middle of the establishment. It's like kind of slouched to one side, like a weird kind of gray tongue kind of hanging from its mouth, like kind of a slimy saliva mixture kind of like slowly going down its skin. It has like two like lazy eyes that don't look in the same direction as they kind of just like wander around the open room. But as the party make their way in, there's a pretty elderly looking gnome behind the bar. He appears to be kind of walking around on what is almost kind of like stilts, long, you know, kind of wooden poles he's attached to his legs to be eye level with the taller folk. But he has a nice long flowing white beard, a little red cap that kind of like tips at the end, you know, very rosy and joyful features as he sees Rolly, immediately recognizing him, and also, you know, having the wagon of the Golden Hearts being brought here by the Acolyte. He kind of like lifts an arm up. He's like, "Rolly Halfbeard, oh, you have returned."
Indeed I have, and this was almost my first stop.
Well, next time we'll make it your first.
Next time, when our business is entirely of our own, it will be.
Like, you got some
Give him
friends?
Before he can say that, I'll come up and give him a hug and twirl him around off of his feet, and then set him back down on the bar.
Kind of like settles a little bit, kind of like adjusts his clothing, kind of makes sure that his white beard is still kind of like all coming into one point, and like looks around. He's like, you got some tall ones. Kind of looking at Thor and Valoran.
Yes, they are tall, and that one over there, it's easier to actually jump over him than to go around him. He's working on it, though. And this is Adam.
Kind of has to like peer over the bar to kind of look down, because Adam more or less kind of functions behind you guys unless actually like addressed. Kind of stepping forth from the group, he like looks up, he's like, "Another gnome! Smashing!" Adam's like, "Oh, hello."
Not only another gnome, but an apprentice brewer. He's got quite an interesting concept. Ale that energizes.
Well, that could certainly go quite well. You dwarves like to diggy all day. Adam just kind of like looks at you, Rolly, then looks back at him. He's like, "Master Rolly, he's quite friendly."
Yes, in my experience, most gnomes are.
Fair. Kind of like,
Well, what's your specialty on tap today?
"Oh, well, we always got the spiral down ale. You know, you dwarves drink that by the gallon. By the gallon! But we always have the other drinks."
We'll have some to be sure, but is there anything else? It's spiral down, I don't think, is the drink of choice of my companions.
Well, we always have the lighter stuff in the the less potent stuff for the small folk, right? And Adam's like, yes. Just very, very meek at this point, almost getting a little bit outdone with the friendliness of this particular gnome. He kind of like looks around you all. He's like, let me guess, like pointing at Jarek. He's like, you like human ale? Yeah. Looks at Thor. He's like, you like the hard stuff, yes? Simple enough. Looks over at Valoran, kind of like looks him up and down. It's like, you, are you a milk drinker?
With crumpets, perhaps.
Well, my wife was making cookies. We only have goat milk. Is goat milk okay?
All right.
It's like, smashing! Elmaretta! And kind of like calls out to the other side of the bar. You hear like a little shuffling and then a little like shaking of like loose objects on like a pan. And you see a very elderly female gnome, again also on stilts, kind of coming around from behind the like stone tree trunk in the middle of the bar, holding this little platter. Rolly, you would know this. Traditional like bread that's made from wheat and whatnot, that's common up on the surface, is not a common occurrence down here in Bronzeshard. Dwarves functioned off of what was called earth bread for quite a long time and still do to this day. It is grown from a mushroom that is then kind of like beaten to a powder and then cooked in a kiln, almost like pottery. And it distinctly has that kind of pottery texture. It like crumbles and cracks, and like you gotta really like shatter it in your mouth to eat it. It's almost like hardtack, but to an extreme. So you see these little what look like shattered pieces of pottery, this like brown earthy tone cookie with little tiny bits of something that none of you have all recognized in the actual cookie itself. But the wife comes like moving around the corner. She's like, I have made all of the cookies. I haven't tried them. Should probably try them. And you see her like reach a hand down. It's like, oh, it's quite warm, quite warm. Crunch! You just like hear all of the like her teeth kind of grinding into this clay cookie basically, and then just like chewing on gravel and nails. She begins to start like moving it around her mouth, and she's like, oh yes, oh delicious, and begins kind of shuffling towards you guys, like laying the tray down, kind of like looking over at Valor, and she's like, are you the milk drinker?
I have drank milk.
Just go with it.
So the gnome that was talking earlier kind of brings a glass of milk up from beneath the bar. Had like functioned, had gotten some. Setting it down next to the cookie, is kind of like looking over at Valor expectantly. He's like,
I'll try it for sure.
Okay. You're trying the milk and the earth bread cookie?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, give me a Constitution saving throw. You are able to eat it. It is definitely not a pleasurable experience, at least like raw. As you're chewing it, it's difficult to keep a straight face. There's a little bit of pain as you're kind of getting the sharp bits kind of away from your tongue and into the back of your mouth, but you are able to swallow it, and it doesn't taste bad. It's just the texture is very abrasive.
I usually find the way I eat mine is I put it in the bottom of my mug. And when I'm done with that drink, then I eat the bread cookie.
This is what I expected from Bronzeshard, for sure.
Really, at this...
You okay, Valoran?
Oh, yes.
Well, there's plenty more for you all. It just kind of slides the tray forward a little bit more.
I can't imagine that they ever run out.
Oh no, it's quite popular. It's quite the drinking food, really. You lose track of it.
Thor, are you eating a cookie?
I will take one and try it.
So you guys would see Thor throw it in his mouth, and again, that kind of crunching, graveling, noise comes from it, but Thor just seems to be functioning, just eating it, not really affecting him that much.
That's pretty good. Maybe I'll take milk instead.
2 milk drinkers, that is just silly. But we shall make it so. And then he reaches beneath the bar again. You hear him messing with stuff.
Jarek, you really should try my method.
I think I will stick to just the ale. But thank you, my dear lady, for your hospitality.
Anytime. And then she grabs one of the cookies, and that weird grub slug-like creature that is kind of just a few feet off to the side of this whole interaction, she reaches over and grabs his kind of half-open mouth and just pulls it down, placing one of the cookies in it, and then shutting his mouth closed around it, and then just patting his head a little bit, and then going off to where she'd been kind of messing with the oven in the back.
Rolly, what is that thing?
I don't know what it is. I know what it's called, though.
It is a rock slug.
It's a rock slug. Some places have a house cat. They have a house slug here. I call him Speedy.
The gnome kind of overhearing this points over. He's no, that is Zoot. Zoot is mine. He's fabulous.
I call him Speedy.
Well, call him what you like, Mr. Halfbeard.
So what does Zoot do?
Well, they digest things that you put in their mouth, and then they eat it, and then they sit there. Magnificent creatures.
Does that mean anything you put in its mouth will digest?
If it comes from the earth, goes into the slug.
Except for gold. He doesn't put gold in there.
Well, that was only once.
Did it work?
Well, I've been waiting a few months. Got my piece back, so...
Oh.
I shall not bother you anymore. Your cart is put back in the stables, and you can find a table if you like, and I'll get you whatever drinks you desire. More milk, yes?
More milk.
And while they're eating, I'd like to go check on the cart and make sure that that our little salamander friend is okay.
Okay.
Can I
want to get something out of it.
Okay.
Can I acquire any bacon before I go?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, Rolly, Valorant, and I guess Adam would eagerly be going back to the cart as well, or going that way, and then Thor and Jarek, are you still kicking around inside?
Yup.
Okay.
Yeah. True.
We will find the table.
Okay. So as the three of you go around to the back of the kind of tree-like structure, there is a stable that's kind of cut into the wall behind the building. It's a pretty small room or building, I guess you could say, but it's just enough room to kind of have a few horses and a wagon, some equipment and whatnot back there. So as you go back, you see that the acolyte that had kind of brought it there is still chilling, kind of leaned up against the wall, just kind of staring up at the stonework above him. No real any sort of noises or disturbances going on as you just kind of approach. Just go into the cart just to see everything.
Sort of ignoring him, I'll just go to the back and look things over and dig for a scroll case.
Okay. He'll just watch you go by and he's like, all right, and then begins kind of walking off, you could probably assume back towards the temple, leaving you guys to handle your own business. As you go and look into the back of the wagon, you would see Sparky just kind of sat up against the front of the wagon, right where the seats are, just kind of leaned back against that, still wielding his little wooden shard. He sees you peek over, he's like, "You're back!"
Just for the moment.
Well, I will, God!
Good work, Mr. Sparky.
Bunk!
And we brought you your payment for such fantastic diligence and protection.
You see his, like, black beady eyes get a little bit wider. He's like, yes?
And I take the bacon and I go to put it in my mouth. And then I pull it back out and hand it to him.
Just kidding.
Little narrow eye slits as he, like, grabs it from you. He's like, delicious!
Yes, I know.
But, so
Carry on.
Valen, you're retrieving a scroll case from the cart. Is that what I heard?
Well, I'm digging for the note
Gotcha.
from the turtle attack,
Okay.
and that's all. Provided nothing looks like it's been messed with, which I assume.
No, it all looks in order as far as you're aware.
Okay.
Roll, are you doing anything after checking on the cart?
No, I just wanted to make sure that it was in order and that the acolyte was released back to wherever he needed to go.
Yeah. Adam will take a position back at the wagon again, being like, I'll go sightseeing later, setting in there, kind of like making sure Sparky's still doing his thing, but you guys can return back inside and sit down with your companions at a table?
Yeah.
So.
Wait, so JD, you killed somebody again?
No, Thor. I haven't done anything specifically yet. But
What is that supposed to be?
No, nothing. Someone died in Corel. But that we weren't even there at the time. I learned about it afterwards.
When did this happen?
Well, when we were off getting your sword.
Okay, and you failed to mention this. Why?
Well, it didn't seem that pressing at the time. The guy was already dead, and he wasn't very productive. Just kind of, I figured the villagers killed him off.
JD, that guy could have easily been you, because you basically just described yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm very pleasant and productive.
Okay, we'll go with that for now. But still, somebody just got killed, and you're just like, okay, move on. Next thing, we're done here.
They did mention it was an elf with very light-colored hair, so...
They mentioned the murderer was an elf?
No, I'm sorry. They had seen someone matching that description. Which, probably the murderer. Could have not been. I don't know.
Did Callie's sister have light hair?
Mm-hmm. She had gray hair.
And was this, around the time that the guy was killed?
Close enough.
So it could be suggested to say said elf killed this person in a way that, only somebody who is pretty close to us would know a specific way of killing somebody.
I mean, the implications are there, Thor, but, it's been so long. It's been 5 months? People have short memories.
JD, her sister is dead. Probably. I don't know.
Well, yes, but that's not my fault.
Don't know that she's probably sees it that way.
Well, do you think she's just jealous because I got back together with Hulaski?
JD, I'm gonna be honest, I think she probably thinks she dodged a bullet. Or an arrow.
Well, that's a little hurtful, Thor. We really had something going at the time.
Mm-hmm. And now her sister's dead and she's killing people in her town.
Well, I'm certain it's not the first time that she's killed people. I mean, she was related to Callie, so makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Rob and Valorant, you are here, by the way. Okay.
I was gonna try to like talk with him a little bit before they got like back.
Okay. But yeah, certainly by now they would have returned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you didn't mention that we may have known this person and watch out for them. And the next time that we see them, we should probably, ask some questions, come back, interrogate.
Thor, the first time Croak had sent that message through the stone, I may have implied vaguely that they should just kill them on sight. Because I didn't make that connection. I thought they were just maybe some kind of bandit, but...
JD, you told a bunch of townspeople to kill a trained assassin?
Well, I'm still very new at this mayor thing. We may lose a few more.
Do you want a Kraylin part 2?
No. Valorant, when you are directing your vassals around to do their various, jobs, sometimes they're dangerous jobs and they, die in the line of duty. It's a thing that happens. Am I wrong?
I would take considerations and precautions to select the best people for those tasks and for them to be prepared adequately in order to minimize the possibility of death. You see.
Yes, but I don't expect them to actually, be able to catch whoever this is.
So you told a bunch of people to kill somebody that you don't expect them to be able to kill?
Well, only if they see them, which is unlikely.
Why didn't we look into this?
I don't know, JD. Why didn't we look into this?
Because we are busy, and the town can run itself. Let's be honest, I don't actually offer anything to the table when it comes to running this place. This is all Croak, but I do get to share in the profits, so what do you want from me, guys?
A little more communication? Hey, somebody died in the town, and Callie's sister was there, probably?
Well, we can look into it when we get done helping Valorant.
Jarek, I thought that you wanted this.
I, may have bitten off more than I can chew, but...
You've been mayor for like a week.
And since when have you had trouble eating anything?
Yes, well, there's a little bit of a difference between scarfing down, pies versus scarfing down, I don't know, chunks of meat. You have to chew one a little bit longer than the other.
I don't even know what that means.
So as you all are conversing, you notice a younger gnome who is foregone the white hair of the other gnomes that you saw at the bar. He's not on his stilts. He's just kind of going around. He's, standing about 2 feet tall, going around sweeping the floor, like, throughout the bar. As your conversation continues, he's kind of getting closer and closer, just kind of making his way almost next to you. Eventually, Rolly, as you're sitting there, he kind of comes up beside you and, like, nudges you with his elbow a little bit. He's like, Master Rolly, I have a request.
Do I know him?
Yes, his name is Bucket. He is the son of the husband and wife that own the bar.
Of course, Bucket. What do you want?
He kind of like looks at the rest of the party and looks back to Rolly. He's like, can I talk to you alone?
Oh, serious? Yeah, just let me bring my food with me. All right, let's go.
So it kind of just like leads you to the other side of the tavern room, just like kind of standing in front of another pair of tables, or a set of table, or a table. Doesn't matter. So he's like sit in front of you. You see he's still holding the broom. He's almost kind of like wringing his hands on it, like nervously, as he's like looking at the ground, looking up at you. It's like, Master Rowley, my parents are proud people, so they won't go around asking for help, but they're at their wits' end, and I don't know how else to help them. But I think I need a renowned warrior such as yourself. I need help.
Could you possibly need the help of warriors for you? Okay, well, what's wrong? Tell me.
Kind of like looks back at the bar to make sure his parents aren't like overhearing, and then comes back to you. You know, the Mortalkin, the neighborhood top dogs. Yes. They have been, getting protection money from my parents, and that's fine. That's how the world works, and I'm not going to fight that. But last month they increased the sum, and what they were asking for originally was already kind of tight, and now it's almost impossible to make the payments, and my parents are at the end of the rope.
Well, I could certainly talk to them. I mean, you've been in business here forever. No late payments, I assume.
No, it's just, I guess they upped the price, and we can't really say no. But the person that comes to collect, her name is Runabel. She's the one that would have to be spoken to, but I imagine if you go up and you look real fierce, she'll just agree, right?
Generally not. As intimidating as I can be to some people, I'm only one person and not very scary against the whole of the Mortican, but I'll talk to them. Maybe we can get them to see reason.
I appreciate it, Master Rowley, and please don't mention this to my parents because they don't want the help, but they need it.
Yes, quite. It's our duty to take care of our parents, isn't it? Okay, yes, certainly we'll get right on that. And how's everything else going with you?
Well, I keep things clean and I do as I'm told, and I wait for them to pass so I can run the place, huh?
It'll be here for you, and Mother willing, I'll be here to keep paying you for ale.
Well, if you help us here,
you really got to write the recipe down. This is quite wonderful, really.
You see him smile widely for the first time since the conversation, and there's distinctly a couple missing teeth throughout his smile, and he goes, yeah, she really enjoys making those. You get used to them after a while.
Dwarven teeth are sturdier than most other races.
Give him a big toothy smile.
Well, I won't bother you any longer. I do have cleaning to keep up with, but I do appreciate your help, Master Rowley.
Well, appreciate it when it's useful. Not quite sure I can do anything, but I'll give it my best shot.
Well, that's all I can ask. And then he kind of goes back to sweeping and cleaning up the general area.
Go back and sit down with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know Thor has some business, and Valoran, is there anything you would like to attend to?
I think Valoran is getting married.
Is that why the two of you wanted rings? Are y'all going to be tying the knot? I should offer my congratulations.
Yes, we're in love and we don't care who knows it. You absolute nonce.
I love this. This is so much fun. Valorant wants rings. I don't really know why. He never really told me. He just said we're going to buy some rings and we're going to go shopping.
I did tell you. I just didn't tell you twice.
Yeah, that. I know we're gonna go kick some, his ass. The Kustar. Yep, we're gonna go kick his ass at some point, but I didn't know if that's what that was for.
Kustar.
Yeah.
Wait, the guy that beat the shit out of you.
Okay. Yeah. The one guy in the whole time that you've met me that's beat the shit out of me. Yes.
The one that stabbed you in the face.
You haven't even met him, so technically you haven't met anybody that's beaten the shit out of me.
Well, what you told me. You've mentioned it.
Mm-hmm. Never seen him though, so technically I'm invincible to you.
Well, I mean, I can see, the memories that he left imprinted upon you.
Do you want some similar memories?
Yeah, no, I'm good. And he'll just kind of sip his ale.
Okay. Because, I have this new thing I've been meaning to try out. I've been practicing. And, one day, it may come your way. So just watch out.
Thor, you don't have to act like I'm completely useless.
I'm not acting.
Nobody's completely useless, and you're not even, a majority useless. You've got the preponderance of usefulness on your side, Jarek. You're quite useful, you are.
Well, thank you, Rolly. At least someone in this group has manners.
I actually have a use for you on that note, Jarek.
Yes.
We're going to do some trade, you and I.
I'll do a lot of things for money, Valorant, but be careful what you ask of me.
No, it's not for money.
Oh?
You've expressed an interest in studying mannerisms and patterns of speech for members of the high society.
I mean, look, if you saw me behind you imitating your gestures, I wasn't doing it to be mean. I was doing it to be correct.
No, I understand. There's no limit to the nefarious purposes that I'm sure you can imagine for this skill. And, well, I suppose that goes double for me. Here's what I propose. Is this limited to speech?
Well, if you're going to act the part, you also need to know how to, what is that saying? Walk the walk.
What about forgery?
Do I, and Jarek will get a little bit of drool and just be like, do I finally get to use my spells? He's like halfway got ink and quill out of his bag. He's like, do I get to do something?
I don't know what you intend to use, but as long as it works, I don't care.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Valen takes out the note that he dug out of the wagon, and it's basically the bill of sale for the Sheld Marauders to kidnap him back when.
Mm-hmm.
And he slides it across the table to Jarek. Now, most of this is inconsequential, but there at the bottom, that is Salomon's signature. And he says it under his breath, and he kind of glances around the tavern. If you can study that and replicate it, if all you can manage is the signature, that will be useful enough perhaps at some point. But if you could extrapolate and author a short note, sure we could find a great many uses for such a thing. Can you do it?
I can. When would you need it written?
Well, I don't know. My hope was that you could study it, practice it, and then when I know what to tell you to write, you can write it.
That's perfect. I can use magic to enhance its believability, but it wears off after a few days. So if it's something that you need to present and be used immediately, that would actually work very well, because then we could prepare it maybe a day ahead of time, use it the next day, and then I'll practice getting it without the magic. That way it's a little more believable.
That sounds fine. If you can do that, don't let anything happen to that paper, by the way, then I'll tell you whatever you want to know about how to behave in polite society.
Can you teach me how to behave in polite society?
You know, it's rather interesting, Rolly. As a matter of fact, I've been quite surprised since we arrived here. I've been quite frustrated over the last month, not understanding why the constant mockery and taunting of me. But since we've arrived in Bronshard, I think I've observed in the way that they seem to speak to you, this member of this honored family, perhaps it's a cultural dwarven peculiarity to behave nastily and without tact. So perhaps I've misread the situation.
Oh, sorry you view it as nasty and without tact. We've got our own sorts of tact, and if there's anything that, to be sure, you haven't seen the nasty side of a dwarf yet, at least not in my presence.
I am only beginning to understand the depths.
Did that rock slug just meow?
No, I'm more curious about how in the world it's going to digest that. We'll call it a cookie. I'll be nice.
It was a pretty good cookie.
They're mushroom cookies and made of mushroom bread. Have you ever had mushroom coffee? They brew that here too. It's quite interesting. Oh, it really is. It takes a bit of getting used to, but well,
really,
I for my part, it wasn't all just me being a dwarf and culture and whatnot, what have you. I genuinely was messing with you on occasion, and what can I say? It's just who I am, but I very much enjoy your company and value your companionship, so maybe we should come up with a code word, when safety net of sorts. If you say a word, I'll shut up.
How would that be different from the other words that I've used until now?
Well, I'll know you're upset.
I don't...
Galarin, it's a very common practice. I've done it many times myself.
No, I understand the concept. Whatever. I'll take it. I'm just glad you didn't try to feed me some tripe about learning to enjoy myself.
Well, you should do that. I mean, you really should. Life is far too long to be miserable during all of it.
I enjoyed my life. I enjoyed it quite well without submitting to mockery.
Have you ever mocked somebody? That you... No, I mean... Have you ever mocked a friend?
Certainly. So does
Okay.
everyone.
Really? Are we friends?
I don't know. It's been kind of an open question.
What have I done that's unfriendly to you?
Well, as I've just described, I have not understood the nature of the behavior in the last several weeks.
I'll tell you what. Taking our cultural differences and norms into account, I'll try to be a little less of what would appear to be an asshole to you. If you, by the same token, mock me on occasion. I've got thick skin, I can take it.
Well, I do come from high society, Rolly. I know I'm sorry if you're offended apology when I hear one. But, on that note, I'll say this. Your parents were drunken strangers on the night that you were conceived.
Most likely. I mean, really, that's quite uncommon, really, but...
No, again, I'm getting
It was a good try, very, very good try.
quite a lot from the people of Bronchard in just one afternoon.
Thank you for trying to understand, and I can do better too. Now, the day's not getting any younger. Is any other business we have here should we be about?
Jarek, are we agreed, I assume? Can you do it?
Yes, definitely. I need to check around for something in the town if I have time, but I'll get working on that right away.
Splendid. Well, what awaits us?
Let's head towards the
God dang it. What was the name of the district again?
Borfor Circle.
let's head towards Borfor Circle, and we can take care of several issues that we need to address today.
So as the party kind of get up from the table and begin kind of getting ready to leave, you hear this like wet plop sound, and you all kind of glance over at the what's the word I'm looking for? The cause of it, and you see that Zoot has fallen from his box and has landed on the floor. Bucket kind of like moving over. He's like, I just cleaned there, and kind of reaching, grabbing, and put him back in the box, kind of shoving him back up into place, and then trying to clean up a little splat that he left behind. But besides that, the party can now leave the Tipsy Gnome and on the way to Borfor Circle.
They say that the residue from those slugs makes very good cream for the face. Very moisturizing.
Really, I hope you were speaking in jest.
No, really, it's... You take the secretions, you mix it with a few other ingredients, it makes a paste, and the dwarven women use it to maintain their youthful good looks far past the age where they normally would start to wrinkle. It's quite a thing among higher society here in Bronshop.
Oh.
So, is the party moving to Borfor Circle? Okay. So, are you guys asking around? Are you gonna like try and seek out your cousin immediately, Rolly? Like, what is the approach?
Yeah, I'd go straight for my cousin.
Okay. So the last time, yes.
As we travel, following Rolly, I think Jarek would just inquire about any renowned, like, tinkers. What are those things called? I've already forgotten. Artificers?
Yeah, artificers.
Artificers. That might be in that area. See if I can pick up a name or two.
Mm-hmm. So, answering for Rolex, I assume he would know this information. As far as the kind of mechanical things that you see, the war machines that come out of Bronze Shard, and that kind of like whole side of the economy here, they distinctly come from the third level, where a lot of the industry and factories of Bronze Shard actually are. The issue is that they do not allow non-dwarven individuals down there, so you'd have to go to some sort of shop or requisition it or do something of that nature. It'd be hard for you to get to like the source of like a workshop or something of that sort.
Okay. In that case, I'll wait then.
So Rolly, last time you were here, or last to your knowledge, your cousin worked at a place called the Hammer Banger. He was working as an apprentice there, kind of, learning the trade of blacksmithing and things of that nature. So that'd probably be the best bet to find him.
Off we go to the Hammerbanger.
So as you guys move towards Borfor Circle, there is like the main road that like breaks off of the circle and leads into this giant plaza of iron working and craftsmanship. And as you turn the corner, you just hear this like constant banging of metal, scraping, flames. Like there's a big plume of smoke that kind of comes off of the various workshops in the circle and go up towards this kind of curved ceiling and then out some spout that you assume, leads outside somewhere. So as you get closer and closer, you see all different kinds of workshops throughout the circle. And this is a pretty massive area, maybe like a mile or so in diameter each way. And so there's, people tinkering, people selling, and, laughing and shouting, hammers banging, just like a constant kind of rumble of noise going on. Rolly, you would know that's kind of off on the northeast corner, the hammer banger, leading the party through the shop. You'd see a few people kind of like looking over at Thor, kind of getting a little curious look, kind of just seeing the party move through. Some of the dwarves, as you pass by, you would distinctly see Rolly and his armor, and they're like kind of looking after him as they move past, kind of like examining the craftsmanship that you have on. But eventually you would approach a pretty moderate sized structure. It's kind of like a half open like blacksmith shop on the outside, and then half of the structure is like an interior that you either would assume they live in or store stuff in, something of that nature. And you see this massive dwarf, maybe like 5.5 feet tall, which is very tall for a dwarf, very wide as well. He appears to just be absolutely smashing some piece of curved metal that he's kind of bending around the anvil, kind of glowing a dull orange ever so slightly, not paying attention to anybody nearby as he's very intent on his work, just bam, 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 as you approach the shop.
I would try to come up behind him without him seeing me. That's my cousin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I would take my hammer and I would just gently caress it between his legs from behind to where like he looks down and there's a hammer between his legs.
So as he's like hammering away, and Rolly is very stealthily at this point, because of the noise going around in the shop, his disadvantage with his clinking armor kind of is subdued for the time being. But Rolly kind of gets up behind him, slipping the hammer down, and as he sees the head of the hammer coming from between his legs, he kind of like tilts his head and then goes to like lean forward to like get a closer look, totally forgetting there's an anvil in front of him, just bashing his forehead against the metal, letting out this kind of dull ringing noise, like boom. He kind of like stumbles a little bit, kind of like almost stepping back onto you, Rolly, as he's like kind of waving his hands in front of his face, like discarding the hammer he was using at the time.
Hello, Thor.
Oh! Rolly!
Yes. I see you've finally got off your ass and started working for a living.
Well, what else am I supposed to do?
It was a joke, you lunkhead. I see you knocked out a few more of your brain cells.
Well, it looked like I dropped a hammer somewhere. And he kind of turns around looking at where you kind of positioned the hammer between his legs. And then he like looks back, he's like, I'll find it later.
How have you been? It's been a long time.
Kind of looks around and like sees the rest of the party kind of nearby, looks back at you, is like, it has been a long time. Did you leave again?
You could say that. I've been gone over a year. Yes, I left.
That explains why I didn't see you at the festival.
That would explain it. You're using a hammer to forge armor, right? Not your head.
Yes, that's how you do it.
Okay, alright, just checking. Well, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I found a little something on my adventures,
And wrap the breastplate.
He kind of like looks down at it, like noticing it for the first time after he's like kind of gotten used to your presence. And you see where there was almost kind of like not a cloudiness, but almost like a fogginess in his vision where he kind of been, conversing with you. You see it quickly like sharpen and his attention locked on to the armor on you. And he immediately kind of like scans it almost as if he's like reading something off of a page. And you see a completely different look kind of cross his features. He goes, oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, so I found it attached to an orc, rather large one, and he made some modifications to accommodate, and I'll need you to return it to its former glory.
He begins like walking around you, and you hear like his heavy footfalls as he's like scanning up and down the metal. It's like, somebody tried to fix it here. Did you have humans fix it?
There was nobody else available, and I needed it. It was a matter of necessity, Othor. Don't judge me.
Well, I can fix it. For sure. Much better.
I know you can, you lunkhead. That's why I brought it to you. And I know that there's probably somebody better, been at it longer, but figured a half-beard should fix half-beard armor.
I challenge any other shit over here to fix this armor better than me. I am an artist.
Yes, yes. Indeed you are. So, what do you think the time frame will be?
Kind of like reaches up and scratches the back of his head, kind of like tilting back and forth. It's like, there's some missing pieces.
Well, luckily you live in a goddamn mine full of metal.
That's a good point. Kind of like looks down the armor again. A week?
Okay, whatever you say. And also, this was the only piece that I could find, so if you can do me the favor of completing the set for me,
And I'd hand him the letter of credit.
Mm-hmm.
A human benefactor has seen fit to restore the armor to as much glory as it can.
He grabs the letter from you, he looks at it, and he like looks around, looks a little bit kind of like uncomfortable. It's like, Rolly, can you read?
Yes, quite.
Can you read this to me?
I won't bore you. It says that Duke Braun will pay for everything associated with completing a set of full plate mail, to include the restoration of the breastplate.
If that's what it says, I will do it.
Well, don't take my word for it. Who's your boss around here?
Oh, that's Jorsalem.
Give it to Jorsalem. I'm sure he'll want to know how.
Jorsalem! And he kind of starts walking back into the shop, calling out, just basically exiting the conversation in the least fashionable way possible. And as he calls out, you hear a bunch of like clattering from the interior, and eventually the door that's set into the building is like one of those that's like divided in half. There's a lower and upper half. You see the upper half like swing open. This kind of groggy older dwarf kind of like peering out. Like half of his head is shaved, leaving this kind of weird white patchy hair on the other side. Has a nice thick beard going on, a pair of spectacles in his eyes. Like, what do you want? Like, Jerusalem, I cannot read. It's like, yeah, so Thor, I know you cannot. What? He like looks past him to the party and Rolly specifically. He's like, that you're supposed to tell me when there are customers. He's like, well, he's not a customer. He's my cousin. It's like, you see
in this instance, I'm a bit of both. I am indeed his cousin, and fear I've taken his fair share of brain cells, but I'm also a customer, and this letter is a letter of credit that will ensure payment for the work done here.
So he like grabs the letter from Othor, like kind of opening it up and like looking over real quick, and as he gets like deeper in the letter, you see like a nice thick smile growing on his face. He goes, oh yes, customer through and through. That is spectacular, yes. And then Othor kind of like turns around. He seemed very pleased with himself. He's like, well, you need to take it off.
Well, I guess there's no time like the present. Do you have a loner set armor?
Kind of looks back at Jerusalem, who looks back at him, looks back at you, looks back at the letter. And then Othor turns around. Yes! And then begins like walking to the back of the shop again.
Jocelyn, before you go, I'm sure that Othor will be able to take care of most of the pleasantries here, but my friends have got a question for you that I don't have the answer for.
Kind of looks curious, yeah.
Thor,
I have two questions.
Yes?
Well, one, are you like the person I should go to for like weapons, or do you only do armor?
I do a bit of everything, yes.
Well, I just didn't know if you were like, the best person in all of this place,
Well, usually the best armorers and weaponsmiths make it for the best warriors.
Okay, well, I have this thing. This is number one, and I will pull out the Shard's Edge.
Okay.
Somebody was very interested in purchasing this for like a lot of money, and I didn't sell it to them. But I want to know why they wanted it. They said it was very unique.
Let's see. Let's see how Jerusalem does. Okay. Kind of like peers at it a little bit, kind of tilts his head. He's like, where did you get that?
Well, my friend here, Lord Valoran, killed a formidable foe who was wielding it.
That's a lot of information, but those are distinctly dwarven cut gems. I don't know the sword, but it's dwarven made. Is it special in any way?
Well, yeah, it like turns into, so these gems, they like shoot out of the sword. It's magic.
It's beyond my grasp, but I mean that's a pretty solid piece of weaponry.
Yeah. I just wanted to know if there was anything like... No, he was offering me a lot of money for it, and I wanted to know why.
How much was he offering you?
Oh, like 5,000 gold.
And you did not sell it to him?
No, I have barely even gotten to use it.
Okay, big guy. What was the second thing that you had?
Well, this is a request for me and Lord Valorant. Lord Valorant, I mean, you can tell him the specifics, because I don't really know exactly what you want.
Just interested in a pair of platinum rings. They don't really need to be more specific than that, although, depending on how long this armor repair might take, I could have another idea.
Well, I can certainly get platinum rings for you. That's not the hard task. Just pour it in a mold and slap it on you.
Really, I think that would be sufficient.
But, what... Is that what you want? I can certainly get that started.
Yep. How much does that cost? I imagine, platinum of some sort, but...
Roughly going by the size of your finger, and, is it going on, Lord Valoran? Was that, yes. Your finger as well?
Yes. No need to throw that name around, though. And then he kind of cuts eyes at Thor and the rest of the group.
He kind of like looks at your hands, and then kind of like looks up, does a little bit of mental math. He's like, 4 platinum pieces should do it.
All right.
Just gotta throw a note in here. Out of character, the spell specifically notes a pair of rings worth 50 gold each.
Okay.
But if we're getting a deal, I'm not gonna argue, but...
Yeah, that's fine.
As long as they satisfy the condition.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You doing some math there, Daniel?
Isn't 4 platinum like 400 gold?
It's 40 gold.
40.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
we're
as
getting, like 20% off here.
Yeah, you're getting a good deal. So as you guys are conversing, Rolly, as you're kind of waiting around, you hear the heavy footsteps of Othor as he's coming back. He's holding basically just looks like a chainmail like shirt and a few other kind of accessories, like a few like pauldrons and gauntlets kind of attached to it. It's like, here you go.
I removed the platinum from my inventory just so you know.
Oh, you're muted, Rolly.
Well, go ahead and help me into it then, please.
Certainly. And he like starts kind of like separating the pieces, kind of like bunching up the shirt to kind of get it over your head. He's like, arms up now. Throws it over, kind of starts like getting the metal past your arm, kind of working it down your torso, and then, assisting you getting the whole thing on.
How did you enjoy the festival, Othor?
Very nice. I had a woman kiss me. It's very nice.
Really? What was her name?
I don't know.
The next time a woman kisses you, you should ask her what her name is. And follow that up with ask her if she would like to go out to maybe a dinner with you. And before you know it, you'll have little Othors running around. It's how it works. You have a lot of fun with that.
You are always so wise.
Still am. Yes, very wise. Just ask my friends. Very wise.
Kind of looks around as, Valorant and Thor, you're still interacting with, Jorsalem. He kind of looks at Jarek, who's the only one like actively in some sort of conversation. He goes, "You are a friend of Halfbeard."
Yeah. I mean, we've done a lot of things together, so I think that would make us friends. He saved my life countless times.
You see Othor get kind of like a weird, almost emotional kind of expression. He's like, I don't have many friends. And he starts walking towards you with his arms like out wide to come up and hug you.
Just go with it.
Yes, Papa Jarek is here for you. And he'll just grab him and a hug.
So Othor is about the same size as you, but instead of jiggle, he is iron muscle. He is just like a thick, sturdy boy. So he just like reaches around you, like pulls you into this tight-ass hug. It's like, oh, big friend.
You're gonna push my lungs out of my throat.
But so Valorant and Thor, it would probably only take like an hour or so for him to get the rings done if you want to like wait around and do that or come back for it later, but he will get started on that.
Before we leave his company, while we're on the subject of rings, do you think another ring could be made in the time it would take Mr. Halfbeard's armor to be repaired?
Depends on what the ring is.
A signet ring.
Imagine so. What is it for? Who is it for?
I'll discuss with one of my compatriots and perhaps send him back if we do indeed need it.
Well, I'll be here, or Othor will be here, and we'll take your business.
Thank you.
Always happy to bang a hammer.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, Rolla, you have been given chainmail at this point, in replacement for your plate mail. And then, yeah, it's going to take about a week or so to get that fixed, and the letter of credit will cover that. Valor and Thor, you paid for your rings, and those are in the works, so unless anything else needs to be discussed, the party can move along or do something or whatever you desire.
That's -8.
One last question. I'd pull Jocelyn aside.
James, I took out 4 platinum from mine. So I don't know. Do you want
out of your own?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's for both of us, right? So split the bill.
What are you going to say?
I need to arrange a meeting with the local representative for the
God, what? Mordecai?
Runabel.
Yeah.
The like protection money person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can I find Runabel?
I mean, she hangs out near the Temple of the Chain frequently, unless she is on business. So I would imagine you could find her there.
Very good, thank you.
Oh, do you know any magic people?
I'm talking to Jerusalem.
Yep. Rolly, do you know any magic people? Does anybody know any magic people?
So, Rolly, you would know this. Within Bronze Shard, there's many individuals that function as, like, magical brokers. They have information or, like, insight or the knowledge of, like, where items would be or how much they could be or, you know, who kind of had them last. Basically, just, like, an information desk for magical items. One of the magical brokers that you know about the top of your head is called Fibic the Fingers. And he's fairly well known. He functions up on the first level of Bronze Shard in the Market District, so... Yeah.
The finger man, yes. And where, do you know roughly where he... I guess I can figure out where he lives.
Oh, alright. So, is the party departing now?
Yeah, I'd like to... go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'd like to practice forging that signature as we walk. Have
Okay.
some paper on top of something as I'm just practicing.
Sounds good.
I'd like that conversation with Lorna Bell in private, if it were possible, if I were able to find her.
Okay, so you want to break off from the party and go do that?
Yeah, if that. Yeah.
Okay. Does the party interact with that? Just let them wander off?
I mean, I would let him know I was
Okay.
going to go take care of some business for the folks at the Tipsy Gnome.
I'm gonna go take care of my business.
Rolly, are you sure you don't want at least one other person there? You have no guarantee that she'll show up.
Well, I didn't tell anybody about it yet.
Oh.
It was all,
That's right.
No, it's just a little bit of just got a favor for a friend I need to fulfill, and it might be better if there were just dwarves around for this one.
Oh, well,
No, some people can get a little grumpy about these things.
fair enough. Well, you go, buddy. And Jericho fling him some bardic inspiration.
Okay.
I told you you were quite useful.
Well, thank you, Roby. I try to be.
So,
And you should be.
so we'll go ahead and deal with you kind of going off doing your thing. Thor, are you also splitting up to go up to the market district by yourself?
Lord Valorant, would you like to join me? I am trying to learn something.
Why not? Jarek, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll follow. And he'll still be...
Of course, that's what he's doing.
Very good. I have another thought.
What is your thought?
Well, Jarek, I think I've seen you making drawings from time to time.
I do my best. It helps pass the time.
Another project, then.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to describe to you what Salomon's signet ring looks like, and you're going to draw it. And then I'm going to have them make a forgery.
Did he not press it upon the letter? And he'll start looking it over.
There
Is
was
there
a wax seal on the outside of the scroll that was broken when you guys opened it up, but it's still moderately intact.
But I could push the two pieces together to get the...
Yeah.
Valorant, are you talking about this?
Brilliant. But I do think we'll still need a copy.
Yeah, that should be easy enough.
I don't want to have to explain what we're doing to the crafts dwarf.
Well, if you want them to just not ask questions, you should probably gift them with some alcohol at the time of asking.
You're so good at this, Jarek. I think that you're the perfect candidate to go back to them with this order.
Well, I have been around a lot of alcoholics in my day, so yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll even use it, but I want to prepare any possible advantage.
Well, just to be clear, anything that we stamp with this signet would be considered a noble document.
It would be considered a high crime, which is why we're going to keep it a secret.
But I could give this to I don't know, money lending house, and they would think it was legitimate.
It's a little more complicated than that, Jarek, but we could get up to quite a bit of mischief.
Well, that's not a no, so, okay.
Okay. So as you three move back up to the market, we'll hop over to Rolly. So you were just going to the Temple of the Chain, and how do you plan on looking around? Are you going to ask around, kind of try and sum up if you can find her yourself? What's your plan here?
I would try and be as direct as possible. There wouldn't be any real subtlety to it. I would just start asking everyone where she was at.
Okay. So the Temple of the Chain is kind of like a minor religion within Bronshard. Don't have to get into all the particulars there. But the building itself is covered in, you would guess, chains, or at least symbols of chains. It's a very, tall, well-designed building that really catches your eye. And there's kind of like an open plaza, common area in front of it where a lot of people are kind of like milling about, going in and out of the temple, having conversations. So it'd be pretty easy to go up to basically anybody in the plaza, ask for a Runabelle, and then they would immediately point towards a pretty modest-looking dwarven woman, kind of like off to the side, leaned up against the Temple of the Chains itself. She has this braided red mohawk that kind of runs down the length of her head and, almost at the lower back. She looks very blunt or curt, very kind of emotionless almost, as she's leaned back, kind of eyeing people as they move around, just appearing to kind of be sitting there waiting or chilling or in deep thought.
And just out of character real quick, the names of the gnomes at the Tipsy Gnome again?
So JJ is the owner, then Elmeretta is the wife, and the Bucket is the son.
Okay.
And they are known as the Keeplers. That's their last name.
The who?
The Keeplers.
The Keeblers?
Keepler. The Keeplers.
Got it. All right.
Excuse me, Miss Bell.
The approach kind of very slowly moves her head to you, kind of looks you up and down. What of it?
Well, yes, Rolly Halfbeard at your service. Pleasure to meet you.
That's to be determined.
Oh, I assure you, it's a pleasure. At least I believe so. Well, do you have somewhere we could sit down and talk?
Kind of looks around, she's like, I'll talk right here.
Okay, well, here it is. You familiar with the Keeplers?
The gnomes.
Yes, the gnomes.
What about it?
Well, I mean, you're familiar with my family's history, right?
Enough.
Yes, and one of the very first families that I could call friends happened to have been them when I was just a wee little dwarf, but I've been eating the cookies of Elmerka and for quite some time. She's almost like a very small little mother to me. Quite fond of her.
Probably decide what mother you serve.
Oh, well, to be sure, I am a cleric of the mother, but we all have our mother figures now, don't we? Even you?
I wouldn't call it that. The bitch.
Some are luckier than others. But, they've been in business in Bronshard for quite some time, haven't they?
I think I know where this is going.
Yes, very simple. Found out that their protection money has been raised, and I'm simply interceding on their behalf. I would ask why the increase in price.
Well, rent's going up, you know. More people want to build more things here, more businesses, more profitable ventures. And, you know, the men above me love their coins, love the shiny clinkies. Rent goes up, they can't pay, they move somewhere else.
Well, yeah, they can't pay that. They don't have the business to support that raise. It will put them out of business. And in its place, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get another business that isn't going to be able to afford that. Raising the rent isn't going to make more people come there and pay more money and drink more ale. It's a quiet little spot. It doesn't get much business, but it's very dear to me. What can we do to bring the rent down?
She narrows her eyes at you and kind of like looks around a little bit more to make sure that no one's nearby. Kind of like leans in a little bit more. She's like, I might have something. Maybe if you do me a favor.
It seems I'm in the favor business lately. One begets another now, doesn't it?
Well, if you kill that thing you call a heart, then usually you don't have to do any favors.
You should grow another one then. Quite underrated.
Was up in the market district the other day, yeah? And I was going around doing my business. I was making sure that the money that finds my way goes to somebody else so I can have some entertainment for the evening. I bought a potion off of this man, and he was rather charming. Get home and I use it. It was a scam. So, quite simple. I was told that I cannot mess with this man, you know, business, such things of that nature. But if you could go and rough him up a bit, get my money back, and get me his ear, I'll lower their rent.
How much money?
He owes me 50 gold.
Okay.
I'll give you 50 gold out of my pocket right now.
Here's the gold. I'll kick his ass for free. Actually, I just paid you 50 to kick it. I'm not gonna take any of his money. And I'm going to leave his ear attached. Can we agree that that's 2 out of 3 ain't bad?
Give me a persuasion check real quick.
These never work for me, ever.
Never say never. It might.
Would he still have Bardic available?
Yeah.
See? Alright, so I'm going to roll my d6.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. So, 6 to...
So it's a 19.
Yeah.
She rolled a 17, just to let you know. Kind of looks around, kind of kicks her feet a little bit. She's like, I was gonna make a necklace out of it, but wallop him real good, real fierce, and I think we can be even.
I need some stress relief anyway. You don't even know what I've been through today. And as an added bonus, we're probably gonna go in the Underdark. I'll bring you back some exotic ears if we come back this way. Make you a fine necklace, and I'm sure it'll be worth 50 gold now, won't it?
Yeah. Make sure you watch yourself around those bronze fists. Little tiny shits. They're not very friendly now.
Neither am I right now.
Well,
it's a pleasure meeting you, and you've got a heart. You just need to exercise it more. It's a muscle, and just because you can't see it doesn't mean you shouldn't exercise it. And a fine-looking woman like you don't need potions. You got everything you need.
Nah, Happybeard, you better step back. I got myself a man.
And he doesn't need no potions.
Well, give him a good wallop. Ormuk is the man you're looking for. Come tell me when you're done. I'll make sure the rent goes down.
What's his name?
Ormuk.
Aura?
Ormuk. Orrimuc.
Got it.
And then the wife that you messed up was Elmeretta.
Elmeretta, yeah, I couldn't read my own writing. I'm like, is it here a K or a K? All right, so I would wander off in that direction.
Okay, well, you're basically heading up to where the rest of the party is in the market district right now. So let's go ahead and slip you guys back in. Or the market gate, market district, kind of interchangeable. But you are looking for the magic broker, correct, Thor?
Correct.
Okay. Correct. Yeah, we can probably do this quick. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Can't get advantage because you're people with me.
Sure.
It's not gonna help.
Ooh, ooh, God.
Dodge the bullet.
Yeah, really.
Dodge the arrow.
So as you guys move back up into the first level, Jarek and Valorant discussing their potential intrigue with the Signet ring. Thor, you are dedicated to finding Fibic the Fingers, hoping that he... Fibic the Fingers, yes. Hoping that he has whatever knowledge you are looking for. Going into the market district, again, this is a very vibrant area, lots of shouting and calling and people like trying to sell their goods or at least kind of advertise what they have. So it's a little bit jarring for you to kind of like function in this like kind of sensory overload basically. But asking around and kind of like taking a little bit of time, you eventually do find someone who tells you Fibic the Fingers is kind of off near almost where the gate for the entire city is, like the massive giant ones. Kind of has like a small little like gypsy caravan kind of set up, a small cart, that he functions out of, and that would be where you would look for Fibic.
Okay. Are you guys coming with me or?
What?
Yeah, I've got some stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure. I didn't know you guys were like talking, like little chatty people about we make this little symbol. So I didn't know if you were going to do that.
Eventually.
Okay, gotcha. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is up with this sword and what it even is. I don't even know what it... do we know what it's called? I feel like we know what it's called. It's called Shard's Edge, right? Do we know that? I don't know if we know that or not. Okay. I didn't know if we knew that or not.
Yeah,
but,
you were told that.
Okay, gotcha. So do I see the guy that I'm looking for?
Yeah, so as you head off in that general direction, it really isn't that hard. You spot this kind of almost like rickety looking wagon. It's a little bit bigger than a cart. It's kind of like van living in medieval ages. So it has like the nice kind of canopy over it. There's a little bit of like evidence on the outside of someone living, like, cooking pots and pans kind of strewn around the thing. There's a small bit of the fabric that's kind of been pulled out to act as almost like a canopy. And there's an elderly looking human that's kind of sat in a chair, leaned back, just kind of like glancing around. You see that his eyes are this like weird shifting color when you come to approach. Like it begins as like a blue and then they come off like a green and then kind of transition to like a white and then, kind of repeating that process. It's pretty gradual, so it's not like a strobe light is like flickering in your vision, but it's something that you notice very distinctly as you approach. Otherwise, he appears to be fairly mundane. There's a little bit of scruff going on and like shoulder length hair, probably in his like 30s or 40s if you had to guess, but he sees you kind of eyeing him and he kind of just like tilts his head down at you.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
What's up with your eyes, first of all?
Oh, that's how I do my business.
With your eyes? Oh, I guess that's fair.
Allows me to see the fingers.
It's true. Oh, you like fingers? Is that your thing? Fingers?
Common misconception. I'm Fibic the Fingers because I got fingers everywhere and all the little knowledge honeypots.
Well connected. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have two things for you. Much like I had two things for the other guy, but I have two things for you. One, what can you tell me, Mr. Well Connected, about this? And I'll pull out Shard's Edge.
You glance at it, looks back at you. And two?
I was looking just for general things that make me harder to hit. But I hear you you tell people where things are or where to go get them, or you have things that you want to go get. I don't really know how this works.
I can procure information for you, I can tell you information about what you have, and I can give you information on where you might find something that you're looking for.
I will take those.
But it is not free.
Nothing is ever free. That's fine.
Want to know some history about that weapon of yours? It's going to be 10 gold, and then I'll tell you whatever I can find.
Oh.
So he kind of shifts it up into his lap, and you see him placing his hands like spread fingers palm down on the blade of it, and he looks at you. He's like, money on the table.
JD, is this 10? Actually, Lord Valorant, is this... Lord... sir, is this 10?
So Valorant's actually, he's been continuing to mutter with Jarek while this has been going on, and he's actually got a hand on Jarek's shoulder, and he's in Jarek's face, and he's saying, Jarek, you need to know that to even suggest this is a stain on my honor. We're only going to use this to save my family.
Yes, we will only use this.
Jarek, don't play games with me.
It's
Murdering you here in the street would be less of a shame upon me than word getting out about this ring.
look. Okay, I'm the mayor of a town. If you want to get married, that's fine. Oh no, wrong ring. Yes. No. Valorant, look, I assure you, anything that would happen with this Signet that you want, I'm sure, we can all come to an agreement on how to best use it, and then surely we'll just discard it when we're done, of course.
I'm very serious, Jarek. Look into my eyes. Oh, see how serious I am.
Jarek will last about a second and a half before having to avert his gaze, and yes, we will not abuse the power that this comes with.
What's that?
Sir, I just need to make sure this is 10 gold before I, I'm not the best at counting.
Is it 10 gold? 10 gold? What are you buying?
Knowledge. I don't have a lot of it.
I'm sorry, what?
I want to know about the sword.
What do you want to know about it?
Where it comes from. You haven't thought this is a super cool thing. I wonder who had it before me, or what it even does, or how somebody made it.
Homtar had it before you.
Well, yeah, but obviously he didn't make it.
All right, fine. Yes, it's 10. It's 10 gold.
Okay, I just like to know things.
So as you put the gold down, you see him kind of tilt his head back, and you see his eyes roll into the back of his head. And he kind of almost goes limp in the chair, the sword kind of sliding across the ground ever so slightly as his hand just kind of slide down the metal a little bit. And you see him basically, as far as you can tell visually, just die in front of you. He just cocks out. And so he's just sitting there, hands on the sword, and then you see little tiny white tendrils kind of coming from his fingertips and slowly wrapping around the sword itself, almost crawling along the little grooves in the metal, the little nicks that it's kind of had from its usage, and then eventually kind of just covering the entire thing for several seconds. And as slowly as they crawl, they begin to kind of suck back, kind of swirling back around the sword and then back into his fingers. And then he kind of whew.
What?
Well, this has seen many hands, but, it was originally made for, General Harold the Bold by a dwarven man. He did not say his name, but it has seen many battles, it has slain many foes. it was eventually lost when he went down to Athea. Bestial warriors defeated him, took it from him, and then from there it's been passed from one beast to the next, to the next, to the next, until it has occurred in your hands.
Interesting. What was that name again?
Harold the Bold.
Harold the Bold. Okay.
Tasted a little salty.
Wait, I'm sorry. What? You taste the sword?
Yes.
Did you just die? Like, what just happened?
I used my fingers of knowledge. So you were asking about another item?
Yeah. I just want something that makes me generally harder to hit. Not necessarily, I've been recommended a shield, okay? I understand what a shield is.
I shall look. 20 gold.
Steep. 1, 2.
So you count out 20 gold?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So you put it on the table. This time, he just returning the sword to you, he just slumps into the chair, flopping, unconscious or dead again. But you see his hands kind of fall to his sides, down by his knees. And you see those white tendrils again coming from his hands and kind of drifting through the air to about 15 feet away from him. One of the ones kind of coming in your direction, you have to step out of the way as this thin white trail kind of moves past your eyes. But the different white tendrils kind of reach out in all different directions and eventually kind of fade once they hit their limit. And you see him just kind of lay back like that for several minutes, tongue slightly beginning to kind of fall out of his mouth as he does so. And then eventually the tendrils begin to kind of pull back in and then go back into his fingers. He's Bronze shard always tastes like soot. I need to find somewhere else. But I got 2 for you.
2? Ooh.
2.
Nice.
There is the necklace of the Heart Guard, and then there is the Dread Helm. Either of those sound exciting?
Necklace of the Heart Guard or the Dread Helm? Like a helmet?
It is a helmet.
I will go with the necklace.
So, as far as I can tell, some things are a little bit foggy, when you're looking at it from that distance. When someone tries to kill you, let's say, any sort of individual that gets up close and the necklace wraps around your heart and prevents death.
And is it like a one-time thing, do you know? Not know?
I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, that would be pretty powerful if it wasn't. And where might this be?
Well, it tastes like dirt. A little bit dingy, musty. It's probably down below in the highways. For a little bit more gold, I could find a more exact location for you.
Okay. How much are we talking here? What is a little bit to you? Like 5?
I really don't like the taste of dirt, so we'll do 100. That's a deal.
100 gold is a lot, right? What about 50? Why not 50?
Because I've already looked enough for you, and if I have to go down there again, it has to be worth my while.
I feel like 50 is pretty worth your while.
You want to try and persuade?
Hell yeah.
Okay. I think I'm sticking at 100.
Valorant, do you think this is worth it? I think it might be worth it.
He's not. He's mumbling still with Jerk, and I don't think they're even that close.
Okay.
Are you paying 100? Okay. So he looks around, looks at the gold, he's like, and then leans back in the chair and again goes slack. This time, instead of all the tendrils kind of spreading out in various directions, they all kind of start aiming downwards into the ground, all of them kind of converging on one spot, laying back for several long minutes, eventually comes back, he's like,
Okay, yeah, that seemed a little mean. I'm sorry.
I think it's with a spider. A very nasty taste, very sticky.
The spider's wearing a necklace.
Don't ask me why. But, I'm trying to remember details. It was at a crossroad, and it wasn't far, maybe a day or two. Two days at a crossroad in the mines. That's what I got for you.
Okay. 2 days, crossroad, mine. Gotcha.
Anything else you need?
Yeah, what are you?
I'm a magic item broker.
No, but like, what is the whole like what is that?
That was passed down from my mentor to me, and it's been the business that we have been in for quite some time. We are allowed to see into a different plane that calls out to us, different magical instruments and items and artifacts. We're able to find them and get our hands around them.
And like, is this like any item at
There
all?
are limits, sadly.
Okay. So like pieces of an ancient evil god, probably you can't find that.
Are you in the business of finding pieces of an ancient god?
I do so happen to be in that business, yes.
How much would you be willing to pay for this information?
I don't know how much it costs. Prices keep going up. I don't really know what's happening. I know that I have some money. I still have a lot of money. But I don't know what a lot of money is to you.
If I'm gonna be touching evil gods, we'll start at a minimum of 3,000 gold.
All right, now, sir, I need your attention.
Valorant, look, I'll do what I can, okay? Now, you should probably help Thor before he, I don't know, gambles something away.
What is it?
Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed at all what has happened here, but this man finds magic things.
Yes, I do.
And he said that he could potentially find, the appendages of the evil god man.
All right, I think we're done here.
What? What?
Did you get what you came here for, Thor?
I know what happens if I say yes.
You said yes. That's as good as a yes for me. All right, let's
Well, if you
just
change
see
your
what-
mind, sir, I'll be here.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, but they're giving us very good information.
We don't know this person.
He just gave me information about the necklace that's on the spider in the middle of the ground. Did you see any of the tendrils that just happened?
How much did that cost you?
Like
It's 130 total.
130 gold.
130.
It's just business.
See, Valorn, if you hadn't have been pestering me about such an inconsequential matter, you could have been babysitting Thor.
I asked you. I asked both of you. I said, hey, well, sir. And you, what did you do? You just ignored me.
I regret this entire afternoon.
What? But you're not even listening to me. You heard nothing of what he said.
You don't know 130.
Okay. Now, to be fair, he found an item that staves off death. So, like, if somebody, if by some miracle JD would ever kill me, I would, like, be protected from that and not die.
He found it. Is it
Yes.
here? Where is it?
It's in the mines, which is, I believe, where we are going. I'm not sure.
So he told you maybe there's this thing where we're probably going and you might die down there and he's got your money.
Okay, but would you just listen? I don't spend money on a lot of things, okay? I like to know stuff. Now, there is... This will be a test run, okay? I will pay for this test of his power, okay? Because that was very creepy what just happened over there. I know you didn't see any of it, but that man reached things out of body parts that I didn't know happened.
Thor. Who's the useless one now? Ha!
He showed you body parts, and you gave him 130 gold.
This is what happens when you say you're gonna come with me and you just don't pay attention to anything that I do. Okay? You didn't see it. Carl can vouch for me. Okay? He saw. He was here.
That's not coming out of the company's chest. I hope you realize.
I already paid for it. I have a lot of money. You guys just never ask me for money. Anyways, no, this is a test run, okay? He said that it is 2 days ahead of us down in the mines, and it is a necklace on a spider at a crossroad.
Well, it should be hard to miss anyway.
Hopefully.
Just don't... Let's agree not to spread the story of Tordan to everyone that we meet. We don't know who's who.
I guess that's true. I don't know, he seemed like a nice guy. He ate dirt for me, that was pretty cool. I mean, I paid the money to eat dirt, but, you know.
For 130 gold, you should get him to eat a right many things.
I don't know, the dirt seemed to really do him in. He was not a fan.
That's where we'll take a 10-minute break. So, as Thor, Valorant, and Jarek, you depart from the magical broker's wandering fingers and start making your way back through the market district. I'm assuming you guys are heading either into the city, to the temple, to the tavern. Do you guys have like a general direction? Solid.
Probably
Okay.
back to the tavern, I guess.
Yeah, the Tavern of Gnomes.
Mm-hmm. As you get to the gates that kind of lead you into the interior of Bronze Shard, right before you get to them, you see Rolly kind of strolling into the market district from the interior. Both of you guys kind of catching each other's eyes as you're basically passing by each other.
Any luck, Rolly?
Yes. Much luck.
Oh, good.
Just, I've got a wee bit of business to attend to, and I'll be ready to go after that.
Did you want any help?
Can you sing me one of those songs again? Make me feel good.
Oh, anything for you, bud. And he'll do a little spry ditty. Throw him some bardic inspiration.
I told you you're useful. Don't ever let anybody tell you you're not.
I won't. And he'll look at the other two.
Usefulness is not what is at issue.
Here's a perfect opportunity to mock his fat ass.
I told him I'd kill him. Does that count?
It's a start. A bit crude, but I would probably... You might actually kill him, but you bring it down a notch. You tell him, I'll twist your nuts off. He knows you're probably not going to do that.
Roly, don't give him ideas.
What do I say if I totally would do that?
Well, that would say a lot about a man. Now, wouldn't it?
Say a lot about the circumstances. And he
And
could side eyes there.
Anyway. Right. Just got a bit of negotiation to conclude, and where shall I meet you?
You tell us. How long
Are
are
you
you?
done with your business?
The tavern. The tavern's fine.
Okay, yes, the tavern. We should probably see if the council will see us today. That might be our last bit of important business for the evening, but I'll catch up with you in the tavern shortly.
Fine.
So, as the two parties go their separate ways, a quick point of order. I can't find this written down anywhere, but as far as I remember, Jarek, this kind of aimed towards you or Thor, if you remember, I said that you could use the messaging stone twice a day, right? And they did it in the morning and the afternoon, but I never specified them having to do it that far apart. So as far as I can tell, 2 messages could be sent kind of within a small time frame, right?
Oh, I thought it was once a day.
Yeah, I think it's once a day, and I would just update because I updated the Duke every day.
Okay.
So you can send once a day, but you
Okay.
can I guess technically you can send one day, and if that person doesn't respond, they can respond later. So
I thought I set it to 2, but I guess if it's 1, then good to know.
if Croak sent it a while ago,
Mhm.
technically he could still respond because it's been a day.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyway, continuing on. Hopefully Rob is here. He is not here. Nope, he is here.
I was with you the whole time.
Okay. So how's your approach to try and find Oromuk?
He's what sort of merchant was he?
The only information you got from her is that he sold her a potion.
Okay, I would ask where I could find a dwarf named Oromuk.
Okay, go ahead and give me a investigation check. Okay. You begin asking around, and it takes, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so as you kind of bounce from one stall to the next. People more interested in trying to sell their goods than, pass around information. If you keep asking for Oromuk as a dwarf, people are going to be like, you mean the other Oromuk? And then eventually they would tell you that there's a potion seller who is an elf named Oromuk that's over on the west side of the district. Spotted by having a pretty vibrant purple robe and long white hair. So,
And when I finally met somebody that could tell me where he was, I'd like to ask if there was anything else they knew about Oromuk.
You'd probably get the response of he seems.
And I would kind of phrase it in the dwarf amongst dwarfs, hey, look, I'm gonna be doing some business with him. Is there any edge that I can have over this elf?
Okay, so apparently he's fairly new, as far as the market district goes, and who kind of keeps track of who's been here the longest and comes and goes, that kind of thing. He apparently only deals in potions. It's his specialty. Seems to be very popular with the ladies, so a lot of the men that you talk to are kind of just I don't go over there. Why would I go over there? Kind of thing. So, probably the information you get.
Easy enough.
So just head off in that direction, I suppose?
Yeah.
Okay. So you start kind of moving through the western side, kind of keeping your eyes out for someone who fits the description. As an elf in a dwarven city, this is the market district, so there's a variety, but still mostly dwarves. It's not hard to eventually spot the very tall, slender, purple-robed, white-haired elf, kind of maybe like 30 or 40 feet from you, across a couple other stalls. Excuse me. Kind of like stood on a little crate next to his little shop that he's kind of set up, kind of like looking up, holding a hand to his chest. He's like, "If you need anything, you can come over here. I sell potions of all kinds, every kind. Just step this way, dear, over here. Oh, you look fabulous today."
Hello. Ormuk, I presume.
Kind of looks down at you, he's like, "Oh, look at the heartthrob. Are you in the business of potion buying, sir?"
You could say I'm in the potion business, yes.
Well, what do you need? Something to invigorate you? Keep you on the active circle? Or something to maybe make you smell a bit more approachable?
No, my smell is quite, it facilitates meeting with many ladies. I've got no need to mess with my smell, but, getting a bit older, so yes, give me something that'll make me feel 30 again.
I can certainly find something that would fit your desires. And they kind of like start looking at the potions behind him, kind of start like looking through the little vials, kind of fingering over a couple and like reading the little labels on them.
I just wait for him to find me one.
Okay. Eventually it comes back with a small little vial, maybe like an inch tall, and maybe about half of it's full of the liquid. It's this kind of sludgy, silvery liquid, kind of corked off the top. He like gives it a little shake. He goes, "This would do the trick. Just, drink that in the morning, and then all day you shall be ready for action."
So, does he hand it to me?
Yeah.
Okay. And how much taller is he than me?
He's like 6.5 feet tall, and what, you're like 4-ish?
4.5.
Yeah, so he's almost like, kind of getting near twice your height. But he's very slender.
And so uncork it, I'll smell it, and then I'll put the cork back on and...
This is disgusting. You've got something foul all around the edge. Look at this.
Kind of like peers. He's like, No, I just corked this morning.
Put your nose in it. See if you don't see what I saw.
And I'll just hold it down there.
Okay, he like just, doesn't have any sort of sense of, awareness. Just peers his head down.
So as he brings his head down, I'm
quite sorry about this, but...
And then I just uppercut the shit out of him right in his nose. Just...
Okay. So we don't have to do like a whole combat thing. What I'm going to do is do a series of like grapple athletic checks. But since you're surprising him, I'll let you have advantage on the first one.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll me athletics with advantage. Okay. So as he kind of like looks down, is peering at the thing, he like hears you speak, kind of telling him, like, "I'm sorry, what?" Bam! Like just colliding your fist into his face, kind of getting flung back a little bit. The vial goes flying and like clashing down on the floor. Like, "Oh, good God!" And like kind of covers his face, kind of stumbles off his crate a little bit.
Do I have control of him at this point?
Yeah, you certainly have the upper hand at this point.
All right. Did I damage his face? Did it break his nose?
Maybe not break his nose, but you certainly left like a nice big, like discolored bit of skin that's gonna certainly bruise.
Look, somebody who can affect someone who is very dear to me is not happy with your work. She wanted a lot more than this. She wanted me to bring your pointy ears to her. But we're gonna...
No, I'm sorry.
Relax. We're done here. Except... Open your mouth.
Kind of gets wide-eyed. He's like, "No."
Open your mouth or I take her an ear.
kind of like looks around, and like everyone who's kind of, functioned in Bronze Shard for some time just kind of like chalk it up to like everyday kind of living. No one's really like giving too much of a shit about what's going on. It's like, help! Help! I'm being attacked! And everyone just kind of like looks over at him, shrugs, and like keeps walking.
Nobody will help you. Now open your mouth, or I'll open it for you.
He looks back. He's like, what are you gonna do?
You're going to drink one of your potions. The one you're going to sell me.
Well, it's on the floor. How would you?
Did it break? Or
Yeah, it went like to the ground and kind of smashed.
God damn it. I'll just reach and grab the closest potion then and just pour it in his face.
Go ahead and give me another athletics check, because he's going to try and struggle with you. Oh, he's rolling hot. Oh, yay. Okay. So as you like try to like grabbing one of the vials, his hands kind of like start feebly kind of grabbing at your wrist, kind of like trying to bat you away, and it's just doing nothing. He's even like squirming a little bit, but you can like feel the weight of him under the robe is like paper. Like all the struggling is just basically just doing nothing as he squirms, and you just start pouring the vial like
Alright, that'll do. There's no way she can't be satisfied with that. Now listen, we're very welcoming here in Bronze Shard to other races. You're welcome to stay here and work, but I would definitely recommend only selling the highest quality of potions to any dwarf that comes your way, but for God's sake, do you know who that woman was?
At this point, he's like trying to like almost get in the fetal position, just kind of like hugging the ground basically, as you still kind of like are standing over him. He's like, I don't know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, I just wanted to make a living, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Do you mean you don't know what you're doing?
I just put shit in the vials, and then I just sell them, and then I leave, and then no one is the wiser.
Alright, look. If I were you, I would leave. I would go somewhere else, because you're gonna get yourself killed. Or at least those ears will be removed. I mean, you know we don't, generally speaking, as a race, take too well to being conned, and especially by elves.
He just kind of like looks to you, like, I'm sorry, I'll leave, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Don't tell me you're sorry. Pick yourself up and... Look, do you know anything at all about what you're doing?
No, my mother said I was very charismatic, and I used that to help get the edge off, and then I push my wares, and...
Alright, look. Report down to the healers of the mother and tell them that you would like to work outside of Bronze Shard and collecting herbs and whatnot, and maybe they can give you a job where you might actually learn how to do something useful. You keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get yourself beat up on a regular basis and then eventually thrown out on your ass. You can thank me later. It'll only cost you 50 gold.
He looks up, he's like, wait, this was the love potion?
It will only cost you 50 gold. I don't have much more time.
She seems so agreeable. 25? Can I keep a little bit?
Odd bargain. 26.
Okay. And he starts like reaching into his robe. He pulls out a little purse, starts like eagerly, quickly counting 26 out of it.
Please do what I told you. Go tell them you can be of some use doing something useful and honest.
I swear by the mother, the first mother, yes, yes, straight and narrow. Honesty is the best policy.
That's what I always said. Good day, Oremuk. And one of the first things you might do is have them straighten up that nose. It looks a little crooked.
He just kind of like slumps into his little stall, like waiting for you to leave.
I'll leave.
Okay. So, do you make your way back down to the tavern?
I would stop and see why is her name so hard? I want to keep saying Lorna Doone, but that's a cookie. I don't.
Marjorie?
No, the
Runabelle.
Oh, yeah, Runabelle, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, as you make your way down to level 2, kind of like moving around the spiral, and at this point, going through the city by yourself without the party, you get like a flash of nostalgia, like, as you would function in Bronshard all these years without, any friends or companions, it's this weird feeling of like being home, like genuinely home for at least a little bit. But you get down to level 2, going around the circle and eventually coming up to the Temple of the Chain. Let me go ahead and knock that over there. And as you're moving by the plaza, you kind of like glance over, and she's still where she's at. It's only been maybe about like an hour or so since you last spoke to her, so she's just leaning against the wall, kind of just waiting.
Hello, Runabelle.
Oh, that was quick.
Well, you didn't tell me it was an elf. Of course it was quick.
Oh, I'd like to see what he looked like. Probably crying like a baby?
Yes, a little bloody, babbling like a baby. Bit of a crooked nose, both ears still intact. And got quite the confession from him.
Oh?
He doesn't know what he's doing. He's mixing shit up and selling off potions that don't do anything. So, I'll leave. I told him to go down and help with the herb collectors. Figured he might be able to do something useful. And he also decided to make a further donation to you for the harm he caused. Here's 26 gold. And I would very much appreciate it if some of that went towards a little added protection for my good friends, the Keeplers, and maybe even use some of that to drum up a bit more business for them, if you don't mind.
Takes the gold from you, kind of like shakes it a little bit, like, fair enough.
But just be careful with the mushroom bread. It's tasty, but a little dangerous. Pleasure to meet you.
I appreciate you doing the favor for me. Keep that hot going.
It was actually more fun than I thought it was going to be. Quite therapeutic.
That's what we're built for.
And then off I'd go. Little bit of a spring in my step at this point.
Okay. So at the party at the Tipsy Gnome, were you doing anything in particular during this time?
Yes, I would be attempting to play music in order to cover the cost of my food and lodging.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a performance check. Thor and Valorant, are you doing anything?
I don't think so in particular.
Okay.
Probably just giving Valorant crap for not paying attention to me.
Okay. So, Jarek, as you are, I'm assuming you guys have all kind of gathered around the table you were at initially, as your companions are kind of like picking at each other ever so slightly, you begin kind of strumming up, and, being down in the depths for, about half a day at this point, it started to kind of get to you, like your fingers feel a little cold and fuzzy, and like your breathing feels a little bit off, so your voice is kind of rusty, but after kind of like working through the weird kind of fuzzy beginning, you very quickly begin to kind of like deftly fall into your normal performance standards. Your fingers flying over the strings, your voice kind of carrying and returning back to its normal self as the circular room begins to fill with your elegant voice, wavering up and down through the notes. And as you begin to play, keeping it up, you start getting the attention of First Bucket, who kind of stops cleaning and is looking over at you, kind of almost sweeping to the rhythm of the song that you're singing. And then eventually the two husband and wife behind the bar kind of lean against each other, their heads kind of longingly on each other's shoulders as they're listening to you sing, just kind of swaying back and forth together. And eventually, as you kind of bring it to a close, you see a single tear kind of coming down Emeralda's cheek. And the husband kind of reaches over and wipes it with his finger. He's like, bravo, bravo.
Thank you, one and all. Thank you. And he'll just be loduliously bowing. Just, oh, yes, thank you. No, I'm just, that little thing, no, I just play that all the time.
But, you would achieve free boarding for yourself. But... yeah, so Rolly, I guess you would come in as Jarek is kind of doing a little bit of modest bragging, bowing down as you walk through the door.
Oh, did I miss the song?
Oh, sorry, Rolly. Yes, you did. It's one from my youth about a farmer's daughter and, well, a few other things. But I suspect I'll be playing a little bit later tonight, once it fills up and I can make a few extra coins. Since other options aren't available.
Yes,
Well, Rolly, how long was your armor going to take, by the way?
it'll be done in a week, but I've got this. This should stop anything that's trying to poke me just fine. If we needed to go before then.
Well, Valoran, that's more something you would know. Do we have the time to wait, or should we make haste?
What do I think, DM?
I mean, it's mainly up to Valorant. I mean, you kind of have most of the information, if not all. Like, the different things you've kind of gathered and been told and read in the letters. Like, it's kind of however you want to interpret that situation.
How long will the trip itself take to get to Folk?
It takes 3 days through the highway to get to the gate into Folk out of the Dwarven highways. And then from where you exit to the manor that you're going toward, where Lord Salomon is, it's probably about roughly a week, maybe a little less. So in total, maybe like 8 to 10 days of travel from where you're at now.
If you can send for it, or we can come back for it, might be better to get on with it.
Yes. Again, it's... I've been without it this long. I can certainly wait a bit longer. Might be able to get them to deliver it for us outside the gates. Outside the tunnels, that is.
Well, in that case, never mind the ring, I think. Just work on the handwriting, Jarek.
Yeah, of course. I have to get the handwriting down first.
We'll pick up our platinum set and be on our way in that case.
Well, we still probably need to talk to the council tonight or tomorrow and get a bit of rest at least.
Oh yes, you said that. Right. I have no objection.
So, I guess would I expect Dangador to just come?
He said that he was going to send a messenger to you when So, I mean, the party kind of has a little bit of time to kill at the tavern right now. So this would be the time to kind of, like, square any things up, talk about something, do something, if any of that needs to be done.
Actually, Jarek would probably look for some of the, maybe seedier-looking people or sketchier-looking people that may be in the tavern at this time, if there are any.
Mm-hmm.
And gently inquire about a smith with low scruples and a willingness to take coin for any odd job.
Okay, a smith or like a artificer?
I'm going to give up on the artificer for now.
Okay.
Maybe a smith. Maybe a
Okay.
silver.
Okay, go ahead, give me a investigation check. So you're just looking for a skeevy smith.
Someone that's willing to do work that isn't necessarily legal.
Okay. So as you kind of move around, there are various patrons kind of coming and going in the tavern, and mostly dwarves again, but occasionally a few other different people. But this kind of like elderly, gruff-looking male dwarf comes in at one point, sits down at the bar and is drinking. You kind of like sit down next to him, kind of like chat, just to kind of get the down low that he isn't, the police or something of that sort, and eventually you kind of start like, yeah, hear anything about this, about that? He kind of like gives you a little side eye. He's like, brother, you're looking for the Iceborne ghettos. That's where they'll do you.
Oh, and why do they call it the Iceborne?
It's cold as shit over there. Blood runs cold, ice in the veins. Dangerous people.
Well, I don't suppose you would happen to know of any particular individuals.
I don't go over there.
Well, thank you, kind sir, and enjoy an ale on me, and I'll slip him a gold piece.
Okay. Kind of like, appreciate it.
And then head back over to the group after that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, I got something I want to go take care of real quick. I've been trying to figure out that thing about Sparky's juice and what to do with it. And I think I found a good lead on who might be able to help me with that.
Well, you're gonna run into the same problem you did last time. They won't be able to magic it out of thin air. It might take a week or so for them to build something like that.
Well, yeah, you said that your armor won't be ready for a week. That shouldn't be a problem.
Are we leaving as soon as possible, or are we waiting a week for various projects to complete?
If we have the option, then I think we should be underway.
I agree with Valoran.
Are our rings made?
Oh yeah, they'll be done. They're probably already done at this point, yeah.
As long as we pick that up, I think we're good.
Well, we could I'm sure we could at least spend the night, and we do still need to meet with your council, right, Rolly?
I would like to. I'd like to inform them of everything we've been through, everything we've learned, and see what advice they might have.
So,
Excellent.
Jarek, are you still slipping off by yourself?
Unless anyone stops me, then yeah.
It's like, please, someone stop me.
No.
Okay. So yeah, you can certainly slip away. we'll get back to you. After your companion leaves, maybe about like 30 or 40 more minutes pass by before the acolyte that you remember you had given the wagon to and had brought down here comes through the door, kind of looks around, spots you, Rolly. He's like, well, hopefully I'm done, but they're ready to see you, Rolly.
How long have you been an acolyte?
5 years? Yeah, 5 years.
You must be incredibly stupid then.
Ouch, that hurts.
If you figured out that it's never done. Every day, they're gonna want more and more of you. Until one day they promote you and you're all done. Until then, quit bitching. Nobody wants to hear it.
The wisdom of my elders. Just, delicious.
I'll give you something tastier if you want.
Oh, you want to go, huh?
You think you got what it takes?
Oh, let's have at it then. And he like starts straightening out his clothes, like kind of like cracking his knuckles.
Roll initiative, I guess.
We'll go ahead and do the kind of athletics competition back and forth. So, okay, so is anybody interfering in this?
No, I'm just sad about losing gold, so I'll just sit there.
Okay, so the acolyte is, he's a much younger dwarf than you. He's probably like 30 or 40, so he's like a teenager basically in your years. He kind of like steps up, he starts like kind of like rotating his arms, kind of like, flexing his hands and stuff, like shaking them out. He's like, yeah, haven't had one in a while. You ready, sir?
I'd look over his shoulder.
Master Dongrador, would you please tell his acolyte here to respect his elders?
Give me a deception check. Oh, this poor bastard. I'm so sorry I rolled for you. Oh my god, he rolled a 5. So, as you call out to him, he's like hesitant, and then he looks. So,
and then I hit him.
Okay, so I'll give you advantage on the first one. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. So, he looks over, he's like, no way, and then bam, just fucking plowing right in the side of the face. You see his like body kind of twist a little bit, not quite ready for it. His hands almost kind of instinctively coming up as he's like falling back a step, and he kind of like comes back, one eye kind of, starting to already not puff up, but like close slightly. So he kind of like stumbles back into it, kind of putting his hands up, and he's like, you dirty shit, and starts like squaring up with you again. So let's go ahead and do one more. Oh my god.
And then I'd like to... is that enough, or...?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Nothing, I was going to use my bardic inspiration, but...
Alright, so as he like kind of steps up, you see him like throw a few punches, but you kind of almost just like sidestep them, like sway your head back, and they just don't quite connect. And you see him getting like angry, and then it's like his depth perception is kind of messed up from the initial blow. It just kind of like keeps swinging and swinging, and you're just kind of like backing up a few steps further and further, and eventually kind of like overextends, and you just reach up and kind of nail him in the chest, and you hear this like really like solid heavy thud that comes out. He goes like like all of his breath escaping from his mouth as you just like land a really decisive blow, and you see him kind of like go down to his knees, almost kind of like grabbing your arm to hold himself up.
And so as he goes down, I'm gonna like MMA style just go behind him, wrap my legs around him, throw him into a rear naked, and then
I never got your name.
As you like start petting him, he just starts going shit.
It's a stupid fucking name. What's your name?
It's like, I give.
I know you give. You're beat. What's your name?
It's Morbin.
What?
Morbin.
Acolyte Morgren, what have we learned today?
That you're cheaters. You're all a bunch of cheaters.
Exactly. When you're gonna fight somebody, don't trust anybody.
And then I just give him a nice little squeeze, and he should go to sleep within a few seconds.
Okay, so all the onlookers in the tavern see Rolly very gently disposed is a strong word, but eliminate Mogren as a threat for the time being and lay him gently on the ground as he begins to kind of snore slightly.
And prop him up on the side, put a full tankard of ale next to him, and...
Well, they're ready for us.
What did I just watch?
Dwarven culture.
I expected one of them to die.
What? Are you sick? No, it's just a normal argument. Lesson, really. Calling me old. I'm only 70. 75, something like that. It doesn't matter. Quite young, really.
I mean, you would be dead if you were my race. Or almost dead.
Yeah, well, thankful I'm not, but you're much prettier. Valen, are you ready, or would you like some more milk?
No, let's get on with it.
Okay, so you guys depart the tavern, heading up towards the Mother's Helm. Jarek, let's go ahead and see what you got going on, sir. You're going into the Iceborne ghettos.
Yes, and I think as a first tactic, find a, if there is one, a kind of rundown tavern.
Okay.
And try and ply the bartender for information.
Okay. So as you head that direction and kind of break off of the main circle of the level and down the kind of offshoot hallway that leads into the ghettos, you begin to smell this like heavy, disgusting, like mixture of body odor and like filth kind of hitting you as you move forward. And as you get deeper and deeper down the hallway, you see almost exactly what you would expect with the name. There are very little like torches and light. There's a lot of dreary, like drab, simple housing. There's lots of like cloth doorways and lean-tos and tents. There's a myriad of not well-off looking individuals kind of like shuffling around. Lots of skeevy looking individuals kind of off to the corner eyeing you, watching you as you walk in. Because it's clear to you as soon as you kind of step into the first plaza of the ghetto, you are not the type of person that enters this kind of establishment. So there are many, many eyes on you as you go in.
Yes. And Jarek will shuffle along. I found a tavern, or I'm in the square.
You're just in the ghetto at this point, and now you're going to start looking for a tavern?
Yes.
Okay. So there isn't a lot of signage or public infrastructure in this place. There aren't really any good ways of discerning if a building is a business or a tavern or a house or whatever. You do eventually stumble upon a building that's like set into the wall that has like a few tables on the outside of it with various rough looking dwarves like playing a card game outside the door, and it's probably your best assumption that this is some sort of drinking establishment.
I'll stroll on up to the door, and if no one stops me, go ahead and head on inside.
As you move past, there's probably like 6 dwarves kind of gathered around the outside, and as you like walk past, one of them kind of leans over, is like, "Does it clap when you run, fat boy?"
It claps as much as I clap your mother's cheeks.
Dude, you see how dwarves handle this kind of thing?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So, as you call back, you hear the sound of a table being thrown behind you. And if you turn around, you would see 3 dwarves very quickly kind of squaring up with you. all of them looking pretty, they've had a hard life, Jarek.
Now look here. If you can't take a jest, then you should go back to your mother and get back in your crib.
Give me an intimidation check. Oh no.
Hold on. Love gotta be better.
Oh my god, no!
Jarek puffs up his chest and sticks out his chin with his best shit-eating grin as he says this. Grabs a little, family jewels grab.
Your own or theirs?
Mine.
Okay, just making sure. As you turn around, they almost seem shocked that you are standing up to them, almost haven't expected you to just kind of fall over. And they all kind of look at each other and they're like, what the fuck? What? But he's your mother. Fuck my mother. No, fuck my mother. And then they start kind of bickering amongst themselves as you kind of are almost kind of forgotten about very quickly.
Actually, you know what? Look, gentlemen, I think we're all here for the same reason, to grit drinks. How about, maybe I grab a round for all of us, and you can help me with some information.
Turn back to you. Give me a persuasion check. No. No! No! No!
I'd burn a lucky die, but you can't get any luckier than that.
Okay. Oh my god. So they all three turn around, and again, they are ready to start talking shit right off the bat as you kind of make yourself known. And they kind of listen, and they're like, drinks? Yeah. Sure! And they start almost escorting you into the tavern.
So I'll go ahead and go up to the bar and what do we have up there?
It's almost like a currency exchange place almost. There's thick barred windows with a small slit that the tankards are kind of passed through, and all of the ale is literally locked behind armored doors and whatnot, basically. And this is kind of skeevy, one-armed looking ragged ass dwarf kind of behind the counter, kind of looking at you.
Greetings. My new friends and I need some drinks, if you would be so kind.
Friends, huh? And he looks at the other three dwarves, and they're just yeah. It's what kind of drinks then?
Give me your strongest ale.
All right. He kind of goes back behind the thing. He starts pouring tankards, and he sits down. You've seen spiral down ale before, and the kind of little sediment that swirls around it. This one is 70% sediment and 30% liquid. As he sets the tankards down in front of you, and it's basically just really wet sand in a cup.
Wonderful, thank you. And he'll pass out the 3 ales to the other guys and take his, and
they're all already kind of gather around. There's no way. He's gonna boff. There's no way.
How much do I owe you, bud?
Take a drink and we'll see.
Well, the new friendships, and
give me a Constitution saving throw.
Roll a 20.
No, I swear to God.
Yes. Before you do anything,
this is your last one, right?
It is. That is my last one.
Ooh.
Motherfucker.
So you start tipping the drink up towards your face, and the liquid comes really quick, but then there's like a delay, like a half-second delay, where you feel a rush of basically just like fine gravel and sand kind of entering your mouth, and you quickly try to like push it away with your tongue so you can like drink the liquid instead, but more and more of the kind of sediments getting past and into your throat. You're just like, oh god, oh god, oh god. And you get about half of it into your mouth before you immediately feel your body rejecting the liquid, wanting to quickly disperse of it. Why does my music keep turning off?
If Jarek is going to throw up, I think he'd just go right back into the flagon there. Just...
So as you like drool the drink back into the cup, all of the dwarves that are gathered around start cackling and laughing. They start like clanking their tankards and then like taking their shit back. And the guy behind the bar is like, 2 gold pieces.
I'm sorry. I thought you said gold. You must have meant silver.
I am never wrong.
Let me see if I have enough. And Jarek will kind of pat himself down around the pockets and be like, man, oh, there we go. And he'll covertly take out the 2 gold.
Mm-hmm.
Slide through. All right, there you go, bud. Yeah.
So are you applying this tavern owner, for lack of a better term, for information about a skeevy smith?
Actually, I was going to apply those 3 guys.
Okay. So
I invite him over to a table.
Mm-hmm.
And just, gentlemen, first time in the quarter over here. And, I'm looking for some smith work to be done. But one that maybe doesn't need to be reported.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check. But as you begin talking, they kind of look around. They're like, no, you fit right in. I couldn't even tell the difference that you hadn't been here before.
That's a 12.
Let's see. As you begin to like question them, they kind of look at each other and they're kind of like, I might have an uncle who could do something of that sort. What are you looking for?
Well, I had a ring and unfortunately lost it, and I need it replaced.
Would this ring have some sort of markings on it?
Yes, I can show you the imprint that it makes.
Well, my quick friend, I'll make a deal with you. You give me the money for it. I'll bring it to my uncle. I'll have him make it, and I'll bring it to you.
I may not be the smartest of people, but I wasn't born yesterday. You can take me to him. I will pay you a finder's fee, and I will haggle my price with him.
Well, you see, the problem with that is my uncle is he enjoys isolation. And if anyone were to approach that he didn't know, it might get messy, and I don't want to see you hurt.
Then I think we can agree on a quarter of the payment now, and the rest upon delivery of the ring. He is your uncle, after all. I would expect him to trust you enough to return the payment to him once the work is completed.
How about this? You give me half of the payment now. I'll give you something of mine, so that there's some sort of equal exchange. And then when you return, you give me back my thing, and you pay me the rest of the money.
Then a bargain is struck.
Okay. How much would this cost you? You're getting a signet ring made, correct? With like drawings and some. Okay. Think my uncle would do it for 300 gold. 150 now, 150 later. A wealthy man like you, this is chump change.
Sure, I don't know about wealthy. But I think we can agree, yes.
And he reaches down into his pocket, and he pulls out, it's a dwarven carved, small, almost like toy-looking kind of thing. If you try to really discern what it could potentially be, you would quickly kind of figure out that it looks like it's some sort of chess-like game, like a piece from that game, but it is solid platinum. And he pulls it out, and he holds it as like, this is my lucky piece, and I will give it to you to hold, so that you know that I will keep my word.
I'd like to cast Identify on it.
Okay. It would not return any sort of magical information.
Okay. Then we are agreed. How long would it take? I have some business out of town. I may need to return and pick it up.
I mean, he has kind of shaky fingers sometimes, so couple days, a week, week and a half, somewhere in there.
Let's try to have it within a week.
I will try my best.
Well, thank you. And he'll slide over the 150 golds and then just take a drink of his backwashed ale.
What is your name, friend?
You can call me Jarek for now.
All right, Jarek.
And yourself?
I'm Tormek.
Can I call upon you here at this location when I come back?
Yeah, the owner knows me. Tell him who you're looking for. It will get my way.
That sounds great. Well, please. And he'll pull out one other gold and slide it onto the table. You and your friends enjoy another round on me.
Certainly will. Try to not get robbed on the way out.
Huh, well, you've taken everything I have, so I'm not too worried about it.
Safe travels.
And Jarek will go ahead and head on out.
Okay. So, here, I'll give you an option, Jarek. We could certainly say that, like, that was within the time frame that the party waited for the messenger to arrive. So if you wanted to meet back up with them before they got to the temple, that's certainly doable, or you can have them go on without you.
I guess I could maybe bump into them as they're headed that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as you leave the ghetto and you start heading in the direction of the tavern, you're kind of like walking down the street. You're like head held high that you survived such a harrowing encounter. And as you're just kind of like strutting along, enjoying the scenery of Bronzeshard, the party would be in your direction, heading your way. You kind of basically almost like run into each other as you're both walking.
Oh, hey guys, yeah.
Where you go?
Do what?
Yes, where were you at?
Oh, asking around, trying to see if I can find out anything about weaponizing Sparky, but you know how it goes. They always want extreme prices for everything and long lead times and...
Yes, well, you're very lucky. It can be a little rough around here for non-residents.
Well, I assure you, Rolly, they don't want to take a chunk out of this guy.
Maybe if they were hungry.
Oh, well, Rolly, are you prepared for this meeting?
Yes, I've got a mouth and a tongue, and that should be all I need.
Then I will follow you, good sir.
So, yeah, I would
Back up to level 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys make it back up to the surface level, going around the circle, eventually coming back to the Mother's Helm Temple. As you start approaching and getting into the main hallway area, Dongrador will be kind of hanging around the near the entrance. So when you enter, he kind of recognizes you, and you hear the familiar clacking of his cane. He starts coming over to you. He's like, Rolly, are you ready?
Yes.
Well, they are gathered and waiting, so let's not keep them waiting any longer.
No, I'm sure they've got many important things to get to this late in the evening.
Mm-hmm. So he then guides the party as a whole, kind of clacking along with his cane. Just off of the main hallway, he leads you into a kind of still regal and presentable and ornate room, but it's much smaller. And on the far side of the room, away from where you're entering, there are 4 stone-cut chairs, very elegant and decorated, equally spaced, where a giant window behind it showcases the bronze shard in this massive, tall, 60-foot window. So Dongrador kind of gets in, and he gestures to the... there's a couple, pew, almost benches in the room itself, gestures down to them, and then continues up to the 4th empty seat at the end of the room. The other 3 are full of older-looking dwarves. There's, 2 male dwarves that, Rolly, you would recognize, and you've, had lessons with them in the past. At this point, any sort of dwarf that's on the Chosen Children Council would be rather old, but you recognize the elderly woman, dwarven woman at the end. Her name is, where did I put it? Grok Witchshaper. She is one of the oldest dwarfs alive at this point. She is 438 years old, and she looks like a raisin with legs, basically, with long white hair, a kind of goatee beard kind of kicking in at this point. And she's just very, I don't know, kind of casually almost curled up in her seat, almost looking over her shoulder at you all as Dongrador goes up and takes his own seat. I don't know why my music keeps stopping. It's really annoying me, but that's fine. So do you guys all sit down at the pew?
Yes, I would. If that's what was customary, I would motion for everyone to take a seat.
Okay.
Would this be my first time ever addressing the council?
The council as functioning as a council, yes, but you have met and learned from all these various, I guess they're called grandsons and granddaughters to you. So, yeah. But as you all kind of take your own seat, and Dongrador gets into his seat, he looks over the others, and he kind of nods his head, and they all kind of murmur amongst themselves for a little bit before kind of turning and addressing you all. Dongrador more or less kind of acting as the speaker for all 4 of them. Well, the Chosen Children have been called as a council to be informed on a particular matter that Rolly Halfbeard, Battleson, has brought forth. We all acknowledge the severity of potentially the topic at hand, and would like to hear what you have to say, Halfbeard.
Well, as you know, the mother sent me out a year ago, and very shortly in times past, she called me back, and I don't think it was to get a freshly brewed spiral down. I believe the purpose was to inform those who would hear it that Toradan is being reshaped, and it seems as if our group, as you see here, has got something to do with stopping that.
And then I would give them a rundown of, kind of in chronological order, of all the major high points of the campaign so far. And then kind of wrapping up with the fortune teller lady that that was the impetus to come back to Bronze Shard.
Okay.
And then, that's where I would stop at the time being. I wouldn't talk about the Underdark yet.
Okay. So as I'm assuming is the rest of the party helping fill in any of these gaps as you guys go?
And I would introduce everyone, and then I'd also highlight Valoran as a human noble. And then,
Okay. So the four dwarves up on their, thrones is kind of the best term for it. Listen very intently. There's a few, murmurs and hms and haws and a little bit of, narrowed eyes and some looks of, curiosity when you get to particular parts that you mention. But eventually, as you kind of finish and settle down, they all kind of look at each other, except for Grook, the elderly woman dwarf who's on the end. She is, staring directly at you, Rolly. Her eyes kind of narrow and just small slits on her wrinkled face. Just, very intently looking at you. And eventually, you see her mouth begin to, move, but it takes her, almost a full minute to actually get words out. And it's a very soft, quiet voice that is just loud enough to kind of carry over to you. It's I remember the Dark Prince, and when he was first stopped in this world, it was a long time ago. Have you seen him?
Only visions of him.
I remember the handsome young man, the human man. He was very, very, very aggressive. He was a good man, I think. Was he? No. Anyway. If this is coming back, this is what we should all be focusing on. The first time he came, I cannot describe how horrible the scene was. So much death. And even victory seemed like a loss. There was the amulet, and she looks over at the other council members, and you see Drongador kind of straighten up a little bit, look almost a little bit kind of proud of himself, kind of yes, I was looking in the old tomes, and I saw the depiction of the amulet and the little information there was about that. It seems like that is a key bit of, equipment or weaponry that we can use against the Dark Prince. And she kind of nods along, and she almost squirms around in her chair to try and face you guys a bit more proper. She goes, it was, 5, the power of 5 that stopped him the first time. It was the mother and the king of dragons, and it was give me one moment. She's flipping through a book. There was Naturin and Shevlin and Aravica. And she begins kind of listing these various names, and you see the other dwarves up on the council seat kind of looking a little bit confused, clearly not familiar with some of the names that she's throwing out, and she almost kind of gets into a little trance. Her words just keep coming despite it seems like she kind of almost leaves the conversation as she speaks. She's such a pity that they must have sacrificed so much for just a temporary solution. Because now he is back, and he will return, and there is no more 5 to stop him. And then she kind of drifts off and looks down at the ground, and kind of almost even already being a smaller figure, kind of almost shrinks into herself a bit more as she begins or ceases to talk. Kind of leaving the room in silence.
I would look at Dongrador and just kind of...
He looks back as... Well, Clearly there is a lot of information that we can gather from our sister. But I think that we have a lot of research to do, Halfbeard and companions. It's clear to me that this is a rather pressing issue.
Well, it's been addressed, at least. Whatever help has been set in motion, a continuance of our journey will require traveling through the undertunnels, exiting into the Kingdom of Folk.
Darnador kind of like looks around at the party and then back to Rolly. He's like, have you gotten a pass from the council?
Not yet. That was the other half of the business of addressing the council.
Well, we sadly don't have much influence with the Mountain God, but I can certainly attempt to send a good word their way for you.
Any help with those knuckleheads would come in handy. But, by any measure, we intend to leave early in the morning.
Dongador kind of like turns to the council and kind of like pauses and looks between the two. He goes, I will see them out. We will reconvene when I return and discuss this further. And he kind of comes down off his little throne, like clacking over to you guys, and begins kind of like gesturing to lead you guys from the room. So as he brings you back out into like the big like entrance hall area, moving along with you, he eventually kind of stops you about, I don't know, 15, 20 feet outside of the door that you just left. Turning back to you, Rolly, I know that we have quite a jovial relationship, and I know that we can get serious from time to time, so I want to make it clear that this is one of those times. If what you are saying is even remotely possible, if the signs and the visions and the various events that you have described have taken place or will take place, then this is serious shit, son. This is much above my head and anyone else's head here. But we will do whatever it takes. I will spur the council on. I will dig through the tomes. I will have acolytes read night and day. If we could find some bit of information that may help.
Yes, and he was dealt with once. With people who probably said the same thing you said. There's a way. And I'm sure you'll find it.
I'm confident that if the mother led you here, then there's a reason. And if the mother is guiding you, then clearly there is a way to stop him. And I am just holding my faith in her that she is putting us on the right path.
Well then, we'll make as quick of a journey there and back. And hopefully in the intervening time you'll have found somewhere or something that will put us on the right path.
I am honestly scared, which is an odd sensation. It's been some time.
Well, I'm not. What's the worst that's gonna happen?
We all die an incredibly painful death as our loved ones watch.
Yeah, well, gonna die anyway. May as well be interesting.
You are always such a chipper lad. I don't know what happened to you.
You happened to me, Dongredor.
That is right, yes. Well, you have a lot of work ahead of you, especially if you're going to get through the third level with these companions. So, I wish you the best of luck, and I will begin researching as much as I can.
Yes, please, and you understand the importance of our journey. This is not a simple errand. Make it clear to the mountain bastards that we can deal with pleasantries later. We need to be on our way tomorrow.
I will do what I can, but they don't enjoy listening to me talk very much.
I do.
And that's why you're always the odd one out, Rolly.
Anybody else got anything to address? Anything?
Thor would be whispering to Valoran. What? Do we tell them about the guy? The guy that said that he could find the dark things? They can make him find the things. They can make him find the things.
What was his name?
Something about fingers.
It was one moment. I think it was Femur the finger. No, Fibic the fingers.
Fibic the fingers.
All right.
Okay.
I'm afraid Thor let slip to someone named Fibic the Fingers about Tordan, cards on the table.
The Fibic, he's the weird one by the gate.
Uh-huh.
Are you suggesting that we employ his services for such a task?
I don't know enough about him. It wasn't my choice to let him in on this at all, but employ him, murder him, whatever is customary.
What? No.
We will... There's clearly many layers to the situation, but we'll address some of those later. I try to be as open-minded as I can, but I would never trust something as potentially catastrophic to a human that I do not know.
Well, for the most part, I tend to agree. I just thought it was important to make sure everyone is fully informed.
Well, I appreciate it, and you humans kill each other enough. I would try to limit that as much as possible.
Okay, but to be fair, I didn't say Tordan, I just said evil body parts.
How many other sorts of legends about evil beings separated into body parts do you think there are around here, Thor?
I don't know, honestly.
I mean, if I said there was a giant, tall, stupid, blue, green, grey, whatever color Goliath that was in Bronshard blabbing his mouth, and then I said, but I didn't say it was Thor, what would people think?
I think you just called me stupid.
No. That was hypothetical. I'd never call you stupid. You're not stupid. Oh, shut up now. Sorry, I'm just
saying this guy could be useful, you know. He is apparently good at finding things, and we need to find the body parts. He was going to charge me, but, you know, if we could employ his services for the whole good of the realm.
Well, now that the bell's been rung, we may as well see if we can use him, don't you think?
I mean, never hurts to ask.
Well, I mean, you already asked, so whether it hurts or not.
I was saying, you know, they could do that while we were, you know, continuing.
Actually, yeah. A good idea at this point.
I'm a bit lost.
I'm not stupid. Just look for the finger man.
I think the point is that now the council, or at least their representative, is aware of this person. We leave it in your capable hands.
Fingers.
Is this how all the decision making is done in this group?
Only the better decisions.
Rolly, I wish you all the blessings of the mother and hope that things go smoothly for you.
And you.
Please try not to die, because that would make me a rather sad old man.
The good news is you can't possibly live that much longer. You wouldn't be sad very long afterwards.
Do be safe.
And you.
And give him a big squeezy hug.
Okay. So at this point, it's getting pretty late, and with Bronshard and dwarves and under the surface, days are kind of like loose and like time as well, because basically, you know, whenever you feel tired, you go to bed, and whenever you don't, you wake up and do shit. So it has reached around midnight at around this point, after seeing the council and leaving the room and all that stuff, you know, saying your goodbyes at Dongra door. So as you are moving through the temple room again, Thor, you notice that Carl's head is glowing yet again.
I will receive the message.
You're receiving it?
Yup.
Okay. You would get the message from Croak. Steady income rates are looking level under management. Hulaski, entertainer, routine evenings.
Didn't we already get that message?
What was that, Thor?
What was the message you got earlier from Croak?
Profits were looking good, and my wife was busy entertaining people.
Yeah. I got the same message again.
Oh, that's weird. Maybe he forgot that he already told us that.
Croak doesn't seem like a forgetful person.
Well, no matter. Should be fine.
I don't believe that. Anything that has to do with you, JD, I just don't believe it.
Oh, okay. Well, what was it he said specifically?
You want the message again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steady income rates are looking level under management.
Wait.
Hulaski. Do you always say it slower?
Steady income rates.
James, you
under
figure it out.
Are looking level under management. Hulaski entertains routine evenings.
Yeah, let's see what that spells.
You want to throw it in the Discord?
Everyone in deep thought.
Actually, you know what? Jarek is going to think for a few minutes. Because it is kind of odd, as Thor mentioned, for Croak to forget that. You know, I wonder if he's supposed to be sending us a hidden message.
I don't know. But I don't think everything is okay. I do not think steady income is happening. Especially not given the current circumstances. Have we even made any money? Have you made money? I guess you're the mayor. I don't care about that place.
Well, yes, steady income rates.
Yeah, but where are you making money?
And Jarek will kind of tap on his fingers and no, the only thing I can come up with is Seralim here. I don't think that means anything.
What?
Oh, gods.
What? Do you know who that is?
Jarek. Sir
What?
Alum. Sir Alum
Sir Al-
here.
Seralim.
Sir
Oh, 2 words.
Alum.
Sir Alum. Yes. Yes, Sir Alum.
Who's that?
Thor.
What? We meet a lot of people. I have to remember his face.
Valor kind of gapes at Rolly.
Oh, Ollie. Wait, is it Ollie? Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah.
I was feeling better today. I hate all of you.
What? Wait, what?
What am I missing?
Why would you say that? I even have things for the formal signatures going along smoothly.
Sir Alum is Salomon's henchman
Yes.
that caught up to us in Kraylin, whom we evaded in order to come here. Thor, you spoke to him.
Yes, I'm aware now. I remember. I call him Ollie. Okay, I don't call him Sir Alum. I don't care about that.
What about his name?
Yeah, well, I don't care about his title, okay? I just do
What
it.
is title? His name.
His name is Ollie.
What is it?
Okay, but let's focus here. So he's in Kraylin.
And
No.
he's entertaining regularly.
Wait, what? What is happening here?
I'm going to the Dripping Gnome, or whatever the hell it's called.
Well, a question for you, Valorin.
You're going to have to jog to catch up to him. He's gone.
Valorin, wait up, hold on. Valorin.
What?
Why you talk so fast? Look, I can reply to them. Do you want them to try and subdue him?
No, he'd kill them all.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they can figure out a way to at least keep him occupied.
They don't know where we are either. So, as long as they don't interfere, then maybe he won't hurt any of them.
Okay, well, how about I throw him off of our tracks and say that we're heading back to Eleanor?
How will you communicate that to them so that they can communicate it to him without him knowing that they're in communication with you?
Oh,
Jared.
easy. Easy. Thanks for info. Heading to Eleanor to set up new trade. Tell my wife I want to break more furniture with her. And then, that should be enough.
What about, what if we tell them that we're heading through the Serbat Mountains, and then he encounters my clan, and then, one thing leads to another. Oh, hi. You don't walk very fast, especially when you stay still.
No. The Eleanor thing is probably better.
Is it?
Well, I mean, it throws him off of our trail.
Yeah, but I don't know because like what we're like a week ahead, roughly.
Remind me where Alienor is?
That's in Roy Zev. That's the city that you guys met in.
Oh, right. Jarek, just send that. It's not worse than anything else.
Well, I'll see if I can hide a message in there, but we'll see.
What message? No, there's a. If you try to get them to do anything, it can only get them hurt. This fake message is effective.
Okay, well, so be it.
Maybe you should just like address the weirdness and be like, kind of weird, headed to Eleanor, because then it's like we're like, that's weird, but this is what we're doing. Or like, not sure if our message was received last time.
But wait a minute. We can probably assume the messaging is secure. Ollie probably has no idea that you can talk through these stones to us.
If the messaging is secure, why did he
send the same message twice?
Make it a secret message. He could have just said, Sir Alum here, asking for you.
Because...
We did it twice because we didn't respond to the first one correctly.
Oh, I think...
There's a reason it was secret.
Yes, I believe that it's like, because anybody can listen to the stone, but it's not like we want to hear Ollie's voice on the other side of that saying, hey, what's up, how you doing, where you at?
Well, you don't hear like the tone or the voice when you hear it's just like flatly said, almost like text to speech. So it could be literally anyone on the other side.
Well, we can be reasonably sure it's not Sir Alum sending it. Coding his name in there.
But they are trying to keep it secret.
Maybe they don't know who's listening on this end.
They definitely know.
There's no reason to make it this complicated. Jared,
it's fine.
That message is fine.
Just send the message. Talk to Carl. Tell him.
No, I'm gonna get some sleep, and then I'll send it.
What? Talk to Carl.
Well, no, Sir Alum isn't going anywhere. And I had like half a mug of sand earlier. I need to pass this before I make any big decisions.
Make a decision? This does not take that long.
Okay, Valorant, you talk to Carl.
Give me. Thanks for the update. Headed to Eleanor. We'll return after.
Valorant, you're wasting half the message. You've got 10 more.
I don't need 10 more.
Now you've got 5.
I love you, Halaski.
Poop. Alright. Good message.
So, Valorant, if you wanted to cut it off where you wanted to, that's fine. But you could also include the rest if you wanted
to. No, cut it off where I stopped.
Okay. Does anybody have any topics the party need to discuss at this moment?
Yes.
Why did you drink a mug of sand?
That's
Yes.
not...
Circle back to that. You're drinking Spiral down now. Good man.
Well,
Special about you. Hey, Bucket, bring me and my rotund friend here a couple of extra large flagons of Spiral Down, please. Really?
Roll
You
it.
know, drinking the sand that's normally not. It's normally just a bit of grit. You went for the hard stuff.
I mean,
That is
that's
amazing.
not what
I never
wanted.
had a constitution for it.
It
He doesn't.
let's just say it made a lot of movement.
Well, it's what it's designed to do. It's very fortifying. Drink with me before bedtime.
Fine, but if I have the shits later, you're gonna have to listen to it.
I always do.
Sherry, you want to give me a Constitution saving throw? And then is there anything else that anyone needs to say?
I actually did have
Okay.
not that to talk about.
Like the
You
goat
are able to get it down, but it takes a little bit of time. Thor, are you collecting the rings?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, Thor, are you leaving? Or you have them with
Probably do it on the way back to the tavern, I imagine.
Yeah.
Thor, hey, earlier you said you had money and if we needed some, just ask, right?
Yeah. Are you like in debt or something? Because I think we already have one party member in debt. I don't think we need another one.
Well, I'm not in debt, but I was looking to make a purchase, and I'm short about 50 gold.
What are you buying, JD?
A present for Valorant. He's always so dour and just dreary and so unhappy that I'd get something to cheer him up.
Yeah, but what is it?
I've been watching him a lot recently, and I figured I'd get something from, a piece of his homeland. And who knows, it might even be ready before we leave.
You're talking a lot, but you're really not saying what it is.
Well, no, it's a surprise, Thor. And after what happened with Tordan and your spellcaster friend there, I would rather not have it spoiled.
What
But
you
I
mean, the
would-
thing that you guys were talking about in front of me?
No, that's something else entirely.
Do I believe you?
Do you want an insight and deception?
Oh, Jesus.
Nice.
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 God.
Wait, does that mean I believe him or I don't believe him?
So the ruling that we
rolled
made,
that
like a long time ago, is that ones are pretty bad. Like 20s aren't. I mean, yeah, we'll go with
Hey,
Thor.
that's-
What?
Thor,
That's a
you don't
nap.
believe him.
So you are lying to me just to make sure.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you have money? Why don't we all? Why do I have money and you don't have money?
Well, I spend mine, Thor.
On what?
Things here and there.
I literally just gave 130 gold to the guy to figure out where a magical item was.
Thor, you're very responsible, as you know, and I am not.
JD, we're continuing to have these money problems. I am glad that you didn't just take it from me this time. I think that's a
Look.
step in the right direction.
But though I'm ashamed of how that went down.
Are
But
you?
I am getting better.
I think you may be ashamed you got caught.
God, Have you been a dad before?
So are you giving Jarek the 50 gold?
You need it right now, JT.
I mean, I could take it another day, but it wouldn't hurt to have it on me.
All right. Hold on. Carl, hold it. 1, 2.
So after you give him the 50 gold, Valor, any closing statements from you, sir, before we finish?
Let's see. I've got 2 minutes here. What do I talk about?
You can run over if you need to.
Oh, okay.
I'm just curious if you had anything like ready to go.
No, I guess not.
Okay.
Okay.
Then
I'll just a quick little dart over to Bucket. I'll pull him aside.
Problem should be fixed, and I'll check in with you when I come back.
You see him smile again, the kind of missing teeth very prevalent on his face. He's like, "Oh, really? It's done?"
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thank you for nothing then.
Thanks for nothing.
I will go collect the rings, and I will flick one to Val.
Okay.
I now pronounce you ring buddies.
No need to make it strange, Thor.
That's my job.
Seems to be all of your jobs.
I hereby pronounce you
Adventure and adventure.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna end the session.